Hello!
And welcome back or welcome to Books and Crannies,
A book lovers podcast.
I'm Danielle.
I'm Sarah.
And y'all, this week we're starting off at chapter 41.
Yeah.
Chapters 41 to 63 in Akawar.
Yeah.
A Court of Wings and Ruin.
Are you excited?
I am. Sarah, are you excited?
I am. I want to give a little disclaimer. I've been sick all week.
Yeah.
And so if you hear me sniffling, I apologize. I'm going to do my best not to sniff right into the mic.
I shouldn't do that, as you're saying you're not going to do that, or try not to.
It wasn't me, it was Danielle.
Yeah, well, we've both been sick.
Yeah.
My husband got Sarah sick, so it's really our fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Thanks
sorry
a
about
lot.
that ahead of time. Last episode, we left off with Nesta sort of like implying that she might come with them to the meeting with the High Lords.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
she just walked away. She was like, when are you leaving for that meeting? All right, well, bye.
So, you going, or she didn't really say much?
No.
She didn't tell Pharaoh why she was asking.
No.
But, you know, that's kind of where we left off last episode. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
Because as we all know, we'll talk forever.
Yeah. Grab a snack and a drink and
Yes.
have fun.
Get cozy, or drive, or eat, or whatever you got to do.
Yeah.
But
Just
listen.
have fun, whatever you do.
Yeah, and be sure to listen. So this next section starts off with the High Lords having selected a date,
Yeah.
but they keep turning down the location
Yep. They're
Over.
still arguing.
over and over again, and Moore has put up several options, and they keep denying them.
Yep.
So they end up settling on meeting at the Dawn Court.
Yeah. Which I thought was kind of interesting.
That is, because isn't it like, it's a solar court, so it's sort of already implied that it's Reese's ally.
Yeah, I mean, they've got like a heavy lean to the other soul courts.
Soul court.
Solar courts, but I feel like they're kind of neutral.
Yeah, I guess Dawn
I
was
think it was said
described.
that they were like,
They're pretty
the
neutral.
most neutral.
But more often than not would side with Reese.
yeah,
Yeah.
they lean towards.
Good old night court.
Yeah.
And other solar
And-
courts.
Yeah.
Day?
Day.
Okay. Anyway, the High Lord of that court is Thesan.
Yes.
And they talk about how he's like, you know, a second best ally, but Helion? Helion.
All of them.
Helion.
I call him Helion or Helion in my brain, but I like switch between the two.
Yeah, me too. I can't decide. I think maybe Helion sounds the most like fancy.
Yeah. Yeah. Helion just sounds like he's like a
Helion.
Hellion,
Yeah.
a little rebel.
Maybe that's what it is, and he is.
Maybe.
Even though he's the day court High Lord.
I mean,
It could be daytime in hell.
yeah.
But we learned that while Dawn is like, you know, pretty much Reese's ally, Helion is the strongest and closest ally to Reese.
Yeah.
And then as they're making plans to do all of this, Amryn tells everybody that Nesta's like a few days away from being able to do something with her powers.
Yeah, she's almost ready.
They don't tell you what. They're just like, you know, she'll probably be able to do something in a couple days.
Yeah.
But what is something? Give more
knows?
details. Amryn still needs to crack the code in the book. She's been poring over that crap forever. And as they're all getting ready to leave, Feyre looks regal as fuck.
She does.
She looks-
They like repurposed her gown from Starfall.
Yeah, to make it extra fancy.
Extra, and she's got a crown.
She got a crown.
Yeah.
They talk about how Reese took her to the family troves, and he's like, our family. You're that family now.
Yeah.
And all of our kids, and
Everyone
it's-
has access to it.
yeah, but only them.
Yeah.
Like, even the inner circle wouldn't be able to get in. But he magicked that shit to be able to let Feyre in.
And he lets her in, and she like gets to pick her own crown.
I know.
He's like, here's your
There's just like
10,000
a wall.
options.
Yeah,
Pick
a
one.
wall of crowns. Go for it.
Good luck.
Yeah. Good luck. I wrote down a quote. I don't know if it's important, but do you want to hear it?
Absolutely.
Of course.
You know I like to hear quotes from this series.
I know. So while they're looking through the trove, she says, I'd let the crown call to me. I hadn't picked it for style or comfort, but for the draw I felt to it, as if it were that ring in the weaver's cottage. My crown was crafted of silver and diamond, all fashioned into swirls of stars in various phases of the moon. Its arching apex held aloft a crescent moon of solid diamond, flanked by 2 exploding stars, and with the glittering dress from Starfall. Reese stepped off the stairs and took my hand. Night, triumph, and the stars eternal. If he were the sweet, terrifying darkness, I was the glittering light that only his shadows could make clear. I just got chills. Stop it.
I love it so much.
I know. They keep framing Reese and Feyre to be this, like, yin-yang, light and dark, like, with, you know, her glowing to drive away his darkness.
Yeah.
And now she's sparkly star.
Yeah.
For his night.
Yeah.
Triumphant night.
I know. I love that, Ma.
I love it.
I can't handle it.
I know. And then Nesta.
Well, I have something I want to talk about a little bit.
I'm sorry.
Feyre talks about, I mean, I don't know that she's not, like, talking to anyone about it. This is just her inner dialogue. But she notes that she was, like, afraid of getting a crown in Spring Court. Mm-hmm. And how, like, here it just feels natural and, like, it's what's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And I just love that.
I know. She's taking on her title, but it's actually a title now, too. It's not just, like, you know, my arm candy.
Right.
Who doesn't get a crown. Or maybe she would have, but it didn't mean anything.
Right.
Whereas this one, like, holds weight.
Yeah.
She is a high lady. She can do whatever the heck she wants.
I just love it.
It's powerful.
So good.
It's so good. But Nesta comes down as they're getting ready to leave, and she's gonna go.
She sure is.
And before they leave, Reese says, you know, Feyre is my high lady now, so she can't be my emissary to the mortal realm.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about a job? And Nesta's like, I'll think about it.
But you'd have to pay me a shit ton of money. And Reese is like, I would expect nothing less.
Yeah, he's like, I know you enough by now to expect you to ask for just boatloads. But I imagine, I mean, if Feyre was paid as much as the Inner Circle for being emissary, like, Nesta will be well taken care of. Mm-hmm. And he would probably just give her whatever she wants regardless.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah. And right as they're getting ready to leave, Reese says, time for the world to know who really has the largest wingspan.
Feyre, like, looks at Moore, too, and she's like,
Can you confirm or deny? Well, they are going as their true selves.
Yeah.
I don't think Reese has presented his wingedness until now.
He hasn't.
So he's going wings and all.
Yeah.
He's ready to show these fools what's good
in
the Night Court.
I wanted to talk a little bit about, too, why Nesta changed her mind and why she's coming.
Yeah.
Because she had asked Feyre, like, why she so willingly went to battle at the Summer Court when, you know, they were enemies. Mm-hmm. And Feyre told her, I think we talked about this last episode, Feyre told her that, you know, it was the right thing to do. Yeah. People needed help, and so she went to help.
Right. Fair.
And so Feyre asks Nesta why she changed her mind about coming to this meeting, and Nesta says that she doesn't want to be remembered as a coward.
Yeah. Which is a very Nesta response.
Yeah.
Like, her pride leads her in her actions. For sure.
That was all. I just wanted to touch on that a little bit, because it's a little bit of character development, I feel like.
It is. Nesta's developing.
She's also, I feel like, you know, she's been so angry up until this point, and she's kind of breaking out of that a little bit now.
I think later on, Feyre talks about how, like, she feels like she has a purpose now. So she's starting to, like, grow and, you know, feel fulfilled. More than just being angry that everything has happened to her. Yeah. Everything, even prior to the cauldron situation. Mm-hmm. But there's a Cassian and Nesta. Nope, I lied. I'm sorry. So, anyway. Or maybe there is a Cassian Nesta interaction. Uh-huh.
Oh, my throat just made some wild noises. I really hope y'all got to hear that.
The gurgling?
Yeah. It was more like...
Doesn't Cassian enter and it's, like, awkward? He, like, goes up to Nesta. And in the last section, she was really worried about him.
Yeah. She was worried about him when he, What happened? Why was she worried? I don't remember.
Like, she was looking for him. He did something badass. They had a battle. They were fighting at Adriata.
Oh, yeah.
In summer.
And then he never, like, came to tell her hello.
No, he never came.
I think I have a quote written down.
Yeah.
And I think it probably...
We were like, what is this about?
Yeah.
But Nesta's, like, was worried about him and his safety and, like, was salty that she hadn't seen him yet.
And I don't think she still hasn't seen him. This is their first interaction.
Since the battle at Summer, yeah.
Yeah. So Cassian basically walks into the room and, like, walks over to Nesta. And he's like, hello. After
Hi.
he lifts her chin. And she's like, so you're alive? And he's like, were you hoping otherwise? And then she says, you didn't come to, but she doesn't say anything after that.
Yeah.
So then the quote I have written down is on page 398 and 399. It just says, Cassian's eyes did not leave Nesta's, nor did hers leave his. This chair. There was no warmth, no tenderness on either of their faces, only that raging intensity, that blend of contempt and understanding and fire. And then they start to winnow, and Feyre catches, like, one last glimpse at them, and it's Cassian saying, the next time emissary, I'll come say hello, in his rough voice.
Of course.
I'm like, oh!
Yeah, I love that. I know. There's definitely something brewing.
There
with
is,
good old
absolutely.
Ness and Cassie.
There is some tension.
Yeah, there is. They have a weird draw.
They do.
Because it's very much like, you're my opponent.
Yeah.
And I want to check you and challenge you all the time. And also, I'm obsessed with you.
But you're beautiful.
I'm obsessed with you. And Rhys and Feyre are the last ones to winnow out to get to the place.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they, like, take a sec because they know... maybe not. This is a different part. Forget it. Okay. All of what I said.
All right.
But then they all went away.
Yes, they do.
And they make their way into the Dawn Court.
Uh-huh.
And it's a castle in the clouds.
Castle in the freaking clouds. I want to go so bad.
Too. The way it's described, and everyone's, like, fawning over how beautiful it's decorated.
Yeah, and like, giving Rhys shit.
Yeah.
Like, why don't we have decorations like this? More especially. It's like, I want that.
I want it to be beautiful. And a castle in the clouds. Like, that's a whole big ask, guys.
Yeah.
But it does sound fantastic.
It does. Until they have to climb the staircase that's on the outside of the castle.
That's a little sketchy.
No, thank you.
But they're all magical.
Heavy no
I'm
thanks.
sure they could stop themselves from falling out.
I mean, true. They do have, lots of them have wings.
Yeah, true. And I bet that the castle itself, like, has some sort of magic on it to where you couldn't fall out anyway.
Maybe.
If I had to guess. Or they want them to fall out.
They want people to die. Maybe they have something that stops them from using their wings. They're like, actually, you're gonna fall to your death. And you can't use magic.
Bummer, dude.
Wards.
Yeah, wards. Nesta's in awe. I feel like this is the first time outside of Prythian, Valaris, that Nesta has, like, gotten a taste for what Valaris has to offer.
Prythian?
Yes, holy crap. Let me say that all over again.
Try
or not. This is the first time outside of Valaris that Nesta has gotten a taste for what Prythian has to offer.
Good job.
Because she's only been there.
Yeah.
And so she's seeing that it's, 7 different courts and they all have their own shtick.
Yeah.
And this is magical as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm jealous. I want to go there.
I
really do.
Me too. Can we make that happen?
Sure.
Great.
We can try.
All of this while they're waiting around, Rhys is, like, flirting with Feyre, talking about the crown. He's like, you should just wear the crown to bed. Only the crown.
Yeah, only
after this.
The crown.
And she's like, relax. We have a business meeting. And then they make their way up this wild staircase that leads to death.
Yep.
And Helion, Callias, and Thesan are all there. Uh-huh. They're ahead of them.
They're waiting.
Mm-hmm. And
they're in, it's Thesan's court, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thesan is Dawn Court.
Yeah.
And they go in.
They do. Before they go in, Rhys, like, double checks that Feyre's shields are up. He's
I was
like,
just about to read
something
about this.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. I didn't tell you. It's on page 402. He does ask her if her shields are up. Mm-hmm. He's shielded all of them. They have a shield around them. But he's like, you got yours? And she... Hold on. He says, shields up. Just as I was with... Nope. And I knew he was aware mine had been raised since Valaris, just as I had been aware that he'd put a shield, mental and physical, around all of us, terms of peace or no. And though his face was calm, his shoulders thrown back, I said, I see all of you, Rhys, and there is no one part Not one part that I do not love with everything that I am. His hand squeezed mine in answer before he laid his fingers on his arm. My fingers on his arm. My goodness. On his arm, raising it enough that we must have painted a rather courtly portrait as we entered the chamber. You bow to no one, was all he replied. So she's coming in hot and heavy to this meeting as, you know, an equal. Yeah. Like, he's like, you are coming in with just as much power and sway and voice as any freaking man in there.
Power to the women.
Yes. Yes, and power to women. So they go in.
They do. We learn a little bit about Theson's aerial legion.
The Peregrines.
Peregrines, yeah.
Yeah, they're sort of akin to the Seraphim that Miriam and Dracon have.
Yeah, they have bird wings rather than bat wings.
Yeah, bird-winged people. One of them is Theson's lover.
Yeah, and also the captain of the...
Yeah. So there's just a male peregrine standing by watching them all really heavily. He hasn't said a word. He won't during the entire meeting. Yeah. He's just a presence. They describe Theson. He's the first to greet them. It is his house, after all.
This is where Feyre got her gift of healing.
Yes. And he is got like dark skin and hair that's sort of kissed with gold. Super rich brown eyes. And he notices the mating bond tattoo right away.
Yes.
He checks that out. He's like, I see you. Doesn't say anything quite yet, I don't think. And then it goes on to Callias, which, do you remember how I said the Winter Court gave me like Spooka?
Sounds like a creature we would find in Prythian. Spooka.
It's an extra scary puka. No, but I said that the Winter Court gave me like spooky Santa vibes.
Yeah.
Callias is spooky Spanta.
Absolutely he is. He's got 3 people with him.
He's real pale.
He is. He's got white hair.
Yeah, his eyes are like piercing blue. They look frozen.
Skin so pale it looks frozen.
Yeah, his eyes are crushing. He has like a icy expression, and he seems kind of tense with Rhys.
Yeah,
like there seems to be something weird going on.
There's definitely tension there, and I feel like that's been mentioned, like that there's been tension with them.
Yeah,
it's been mentioned quite a few times since Under the Mountain, because Winter Court was the ones that had the
rebellion,
the 12 younglings that were slaughtered.
Yeah. Yeah.
And somehow, I get it after reading this section, but up until now, I was like, how is that Rhys's fault?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
I know.
Now I get it.
Yeah.
But
they'll talk about that. Callias is sure to bring that up.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's Spooky Santa.
Yeah.
From the Winter Court. And he has his wife Vivian with him. Mm-hmm. And mate, we come to find.
Yeah.
Vivian and him are mates.
And Vivian and Moore are
they're best
gal
buds.
pals.
Gal pals. I hope you never describe us that way.
I do.
My good old gal pal, Sarah. But when they see each other, they start like squealing like little girls and run over and hug each other and start talking hot goss.
Hot goss with the gal pal.
Yeah. I said best buds gossiping. Gal pal may have been better there. And then Helion. Helion comes and says hey. And he reminds Feyre, she goes to this, okay, tell me about this. She talks about how when she was younger, her dad did something or another. He was a merchant. Uh-huh. She talks about this like ancient necklace and exquisite diamonds, and that reminds her of Helion.
Of the person? Yeah, I don't.
Maybe it's because he's like bougie. He's got like a sophisticated air about him.
I don't know. I was also confused a little bit by this, but then she also, like the way she explains him, she calls him like the sun personified. Yeah. So maybe it's like the golden, you think of a jewelry and maybe it was gold. Yeah. Whatever.
Maybe that. I don't know. He's shiny.
He is shiny.
He's fancy. He seems hella powerful. Yeah. He gives off that air about him.
And he's kind of a dick.
Oh, yeah.
He's like cocky bastard.
He is a cocky bastard. Yeah. But she says he seems capable of both kindness and wrath. Like, you don't want to get on Helion's bad side. Yeah. He's beautiful. He's also known as the Spell Cleaver, which Is that because he has libraries, books, and he can use the book spells? What's that about?
Maybe.
I don't know. He's got books, right?
Yeah.
He's like us.
Yeah.
We're like him.
He has
We're the same.
like thousands of libraries in his court.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of...
I need.
Yeah. So
Can I marry him?
Yeah. Hillian is, which one's he? Day? He's Day.
He's Day.
Yeah. He's Day court.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
He asks Feyre if Tamlin knows what she is, because he also notices the mating bond. And then his attention...
Wait, what did you just say?
He asks Tamlin... Okay, he asks Feyre if Tamlin knows.
Okay. I thought you said he asked Tamlin, and I was like, wait a second. Tamlin's not here.
Not here. He asks her if Tamlin knows about the mating bond and etc. And then
if she's High Lady.
Yeah. 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 Is that when he drops it? And everyone's like, oh, High Lady. Okay, great. I didn't write that down. It wasn't important, apparently.
I didn't write mate down. I wrote High Lady. Because I think that everyone did know. I mean, everyone knows that Feyre is Rhys's mate after the whole cauldron shit.
You're right. Yeah. Okay.
It's okay.
And then his attention slips to Nesta.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like...
Everyone is obsessed with Nesta.
They're like, what is
that?
Up with you?
Who is she?
What the dang heck? I mean,
Who is she?
She's the hot talk.
Yeah.
Hot gal
goss.
pal with the goss. I don't know what I'm saying.
Gross.
But everyone is enamored by her. She is described to be just, like, devastatingly beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's alluring. She's got a weird vibe about her because she's dark as shit now.
Yeah.
I think there's an undercurrent of just, like, there's clearly something dark and a brewing about this lady.
Yeah.
So everyone's drawn to her. Nesta tells them then that Hybern made her. Because he's like, what is that?
He asks who made her, specifically.
Oh.
I guess. That's what I wrote.
Great. Yeah. And she says it was Hybern.
Yeah.
They kidnapped her and put her in the cauldron.
Yep.
And then Tarquin...
F. Feyre also, at this point, tells them about Elaine, too. And lets them know that Elaine was also forced into the cauldron.
Forced. And then Tarquin's late.
He is.
And he just straight up ignores the night court.
Yeah.
Feyre, Rhys, everybody.
They're starting to wonder, too, if he was even going to show.
I know.
They're like, where is this
Considering
bitch? Maybe
blood
he
Rhys.
changed his mind.
Yeah. Yeah. But Cressida and Varian are with him.
Yep.
And he seems real tense with Helion.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's something there, too. And as we know, Tarquin is Summer Court High Lord.
Yeah.
And it doesn't say much else about him at that point. But then Baron comes.
Frickin'
Baron.
Okay, I have to ask you.
Okay.
How did you picture Baron before he was described?
I don't remember how he's described. But I feel like I picture Baron to be like a typical king vibe. Like lots of hair and stout and kind of round.
Thank you. I pictured a very fat man sitting on a throne eating cake.
Yeah.
And he's described
a gluttonous king.
Slender-faced.
Okay.
So he's not fat. I mean, he's Fae. We should have known better. But slender-faced and brown-haired. And I wrote, I don't know why, but I pictured him as really fat and ugly. LOL.
I did too, I think.
Yeah.
I think for anyone who's watched Game of Thrones, he gave me the king vibe. That's not helpful, I know.
Sure.
Yeah, anyway. He comes with all of his sons and his wife.
Yep.
And apparently Baron's the oldest.
Yeah.
And, like, most powerful, or awful is what they say.
Most awful,
Most awful. All of his sons are sneering and being idiots and, like, trying to start shit with everyone else. And Aerys is, like, the only one putting them in his place. Mm-hmm. Baron doesn't say anything about it. He just lets it happen. And Aerys is like, shut up.
Yeah.
And they do. So Aerys has some pull.
He does. Which...
Already.
I want to know why.
Yeah.
What did he do?
I mean, I think he's the heir.
I mean, yeah.
So maybe...
But wouldn't the other brothers then just be, like, trying to kill him?
I mean,
instead of
think.
respecting him?
Yeah, you'd think. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Aerys got something about him. And I mean, we remember that he's sort of in a secret alliance with the Night Court right now.
Yeah.
So he's also trying to, like, play it cool.
Yeah.
Act like nothing's afoot.
Sorry.
And Baron is like, everyone's sort of disregarding Farron and all... Farron? Feyre and all of this, as if she doesn't have a voice. And I feel like she's maintaining her pride and, like, not gawking or cowering from anyone really well. Yeah. Like, she talks about how it's difficult to do so, but she's like, I am high lady, suckers. Don't fight with me about this.
Yeah. Do something about it.
Yeah, say something. And Eris is looking at more with disdain. Mm-hmm. But all the chairs are full.
They sure are.
It's time to talk. Until well, Thiessen is like, so why is this meeting so urgent, y'all?
Oh, yeah.
And Rhys is like, I don't know, the invading armies, amongst many other things.
You know.
Like, God, what is it about? And then Feyre says, he, like, is cut off. And it says, it was almost the same entrance. Mm-hmm. As when he busted through her door in her little hovel. Good old Tammy.
Tammy shows
winnows
up.
in.
And the chapter ended with the line, something along the lines of, like, he smiled like a wolf.
Yeah, he's smiling like a wolf.
Dun, dun, dun.
I was like, even having this, like, even with this being a reread, I was like, what?
Yeah, I know.
I don't
Wait a second.
I don't think I expected that, even though I've read it. Yeah. But yeah, that was a surprise.
Yeah.
Nobody thought Tamlin was coming because, you know, his nose is right up the King of Hybern's ass.
Yeah.
At least it has been. Yeah. Seems to be.
And Thiessen is like, oh shit, someone get him a chair. Before he busts.
I'm sorry, what? Get him a chair and all the servants. Before he busts. I don't want to know what Tam's busting, but...
you know, faces.
Yeah. Faces, doors, chairs, jaws. Anyway.
Tables.
Any number of things with his explosions. But... Man, I hate him.
Yeah.
I hate him.
Me too.
So much.
Me too. I don't think I've ever hated a fictional character as much as I hate Tamlin.
No, because the following interactions just fucking pissed me off. Yeah. He's such a wiener. Yeah. He's such a child who's still throwing a fit.
He just, ugh. At this point, there's no way for him to redeem himself.
No,
there's absolutely no way.
I know. I see people on TikTok who are like, "Am I the only one who still loves Tamlin?" I'm like, absolutely.
Yes, you are.
I've seen multiple. So there's at least a couple. But why? Tell me why you like him. In what way? I know that more happens. I know what happens later. Yeah. But nonetheless,
it doesn't justify the way he acts now.
No, I hate him. But we're pissed. We haven't even talked about all the shit he says. But he comes in, he's all silent and simmering. He's pissed. He's angry. As if he's not the one who just busted in on a meeting he never RSVP'd for. We didn't have a dinner plate ready.
Yeah. We don't have enough food now.
Freaking Tamlin. Anyway.
Feyre feels everyone throw their shields up. Everyone's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Shit's gonna get real.
I feel like they all had their shields. There's also the ward that's keeping them all from attacking each other.
Yeah.
But they add extra.
Oh yeah.
And everybody has their posse. Except for, I don't know, Callias and his wife are alone. No, they have a few people.
Yeah.
I think Helion's alone. I don't think it mentions him coming with anybody.
Hang on. I feel like he did come with someone. Hang on.
Okay, jeez. I'm hanging on.
Wasn't he the one who said he was going to come with guards?
I don't remember. I know that the Peregrines are with Thiessen. The Night Court, Callias has his other paley, ghostly people. Mm-hmm. And I don't think Helion had anyone. I didn't write it down, but I feel like he just is on his own. He's cocky enough to not need people.
I guess. And then, obviously, Tamlin didn't bring anyone.
He's alone. Nonetheless, Tamlin immediately notices Feyre's ring that she's wearing, her tattoo, and her crown. Mm-hmm. And he's like, it would seem congratulations are in order. Shut up. Just don't say anything. Nobody here needs to hear you. And he goes on to, say that it's all Reese's fault that he took such drastic measures by going to Hybern because Reese stole his bride. Mm-hmm. It's your fault. It's all your fault that I'm an idiot.
Yep.
Idiot.
I wrote when at the end of that sentence that you just said, basically.
Yeah.
Freaking Tammy tantrums.
Freaking Tammy tantrums.
He's
already having one, and he just got here.
Yeah.
He also goes on to say that Feyre ripped through his territory for petty grudge and, like, demeans her a lot. Just kind of constantly. Mm-hmm. And Az is like, be careful how you speak to my high lady. I'm like, Tam, you should be intimidated by Az and so on.
Yeah. Tammy Tantrums was real disrespectful in this whole interaction. Mm-hmm. Real disrespectful.
The entire meeting. He's throwing
yeah,
shade,
but
what did he say?
Spot specifically.
Oh. I think I remember.
So he says something about, he's blaming Reese for everything and says, like, if he hadn't come and stolen my bride in the middle of the night, and Feyre counters with, the sun was shining when I left you.
And also, like, what do you expect of me to just come back now, I think
right.
is what she asks.
Right.
And...
but then he's just going on and on and on. And he says to Reese, have you ever noticed that little noise she makes right before she climaxes?
Yeah.
Ew.
And I think
that's when Azriel's like, careful how you speak to my high lady.
You frickin' wildebeest.
You little bitch.
I'm dark and strong and spooky. And then he, like, Tamlin, through all this, even though he's the one who's working with Hybern, starts implying that the Night Court is working with him.
Yeah.
He's like, how could you be so sure that they're not Hybern allies and they're just here manipulating everybody, and, trying to convince you all to feel safe with them to then destroy you. With Hybern.
I have his little speech if you want me to read it.
Sure.
All right. This is on page 418 and 419. They peddle tales of defending our land and peace, and yet she came to my lands and laid them bare for Hybern. She took my high priestess and warped her mind after she shattered her bones for spite. Ugh. Hate him. And if you're asking yourself what happened to that human girl who went under the mountain to save us, look to the male sitting beside her. Ask what he stands to gain, what they stand to gain from this war or lack of it. Would we fight Hybern only to find ourselves with the king and queen of Prythian? She's proved her ambition, and you saw how he was more than happy to serve Amarantha to remain unscathed. Mm-hmm. Oh, I hate him so much.
Yeah, I know. He's
First of all, how dare you use the whole Amarantha situation against Reese?
Yeah.
He had absolutely no choice.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, like, it's mentioned multiple times in this interaction by other High Lords, too, that Reese played the act really well. And it was a whole part of Reese's ploy. Yeah. Like, to convince Amarantha that he was at her will and stuff. But, yeah, a lot of them see him as having been willing with Amarantha. Yeah. But still, relax. That, and he's calling Feyre's, like, vengeance on him a petty grudge. Yeah. As if it wasn't, like, a whole lot of bullshit that she was coming back at you for. And the whole... I don't know, like, getting Hybern and all involved.
Yeah, and the whole Yanthe situation. Like, she broke her bones just out of spite. No! Did you see what she did?
Yeah.
To her sisters. Well, are you freaking kidding me?
That and what she was doing to Lucian. Yeah. Like, if you love Lucian, I mean, I guess he probably didn't know about any of that, but, like, nonetheless, it's stupid. I hate him. I hate him
so much.
But then Callias, after that, brings up the winter younglings that we had talked about that were murdered and how Amarantha had killed them. And Reese is like, dude, I had nothing to do with that, which, of course, they don't believe. Right. And Reese tells him that after Callias had rebelled, because the Winter Corps rebelled against Amarantha, and after that had happened, Amarantha wanted to murder Callias. Yeah. And Reese was like, that's not a good idea. You probably shouldn't do that. And convinced her not to. And instead, she went and murdered a bunch of children. Yeah.
And she didn't tell Reese what she was doing either. No. So he didn't know until afterwards. So there's nothing he could have done.
Yeah. And they, like, sent Daemati with the people who killed to, like, go into the kids' brains and shatter them. Yeah. So that's really lovely. Yeah. But Reese literally had nothing to do with it. Yeah. And Tamlin, like, demands proof. Which, how? Relax. Yeah. And Calais seems to believe Reese, though. Like, whatever he catches from Reese's eyes, he seems to believe.
Yeah, well, and Reese also says, I don't have any proof, but I swear it's true on my mate's life.
Yeah.
And I don't think that he would do that.
No.
I mean, I know he wouldn't.
Yeah.
I would assume that they would also know that he wouldn't swear that on Feyre's life if it wasn't true.
Yeah, and, I mean, the mating bond is so sacred and stuff that it can be assumed that, he's not trying to spit lies.
Yeah.
And then Tamlin's like, hey, I'm here to help you. I'm here to help you fight Hybern. And everyone's like, okay, Tamlin, you fucking idiot, whatever. Yeah. And he's like, well, that was my plan all along. Like, I was going to get him involved and, destroy him internally in some capacity. Mm-hmm. And he brings out these charts that he has of, like, Hybern's armies and his ammunition and how he has a bunch of caches of Feybane, which, if we remember, that's what nullifies power. Yeah. Magic. So that's spooky.
And that's the stuff that was also on the arrows that shot through Reese's wings.
Yeah.
So he couldn't heal, which I guess is powers. But
yeah, I mean,
nonetheless.
And none of the lords believe him, naturally.
Yeah, of course. They're hesitant.
Yeah, and then he keeps pointing at Reese. He's like, yeah, well, he partnered with Hybern because, like, he seemed prepared for the attack on Valaris. And also, he was the only one who knew about the summer attack.
Yeah.
And Varen's like, well, that's because I freaking warned them.
Yeah, which I really appreciated that he spoke up at this point because it was very clear that Tarquin didn't know.
Yeah, Tarquin
still at this point didn't know that that's how they knew about it.
Yeah, that Varian is the one who mentioned.
So he could have got himself in trouble.
I know. I don't know what quote you're pulling up, but I have one either. Too. But Tarquin is surprised when Varian speaks up, and then Tamlin just, like, keeps running his mouth. Do you have a quote?
I'm trying to decide if it's something I want to read. Yeah, I guess I do.
Okay.
It's about kind of Tamlin.
All right.
Talking. Tamlin, talking about Hybern, asks, why do you think I invited them to my house, into my lands? I once told you I would fight against tyranny, against that sort of evil. Did you think you were enough to turn me from that? He's talking to Feyre. Mm-hmm. It was so easy for you to call me a monster, despite all I did for you and your family. Yet you witnessed all that he did under the mountain and still spread your legs for him.
Mm-hmm. I hate that guy. And then
And I have a really hard time believing.
Yeah.
Like, anything that he's saying.
I know. It's like he's just trying to fit in with the crew now, so he's making up some shit.
I want to be a popular kid.
They're all meeting without me. I can't miss it.
I gotta go.
I don't know why he sounds like Zeus.
He's special.
He's special. I have another quote, too.
Okay.
It's on page 425, and this is after he's, like, throwing accusations at Reese. And he's talking shit to Feyre, and Feyre's like, what do you want? Like, what is it that you want? An apology for me to crawl back into your bed and play nice little wife? And he says, why should I want spoiled goods returned to me? And then, one heartbeat, the poisoned words were spewing from his mouth where fangs lengthened. Then they stopped. Tamlin's mouth simply stopped emitting sounds. He shut his mouth, opened it, tried again. No sound, not even a snarl came out. There was no smile on Reeson's face, not a glint of that irreverent amusement as he rested his head against the back of his chair. The gasping fish look is a good one for you, Tamlin. The others who had been watching with disdain and amusement and boredom now turned to my mate, now possessed a shadow of fear in their eyes as they realized who and what exactly sat amongst them. They forgot it, sometimes, how deep that well of power went, what manner of power Reese bore, but as Reese ripped away Tamlin's ability to speak, they remembered. And I was like, yes!
Yeah.
One that is, like, such a, like, shut up little kid thing to do. Uh-huh. Like, it's very belittling, and I love that, because Tamlia's an idiot. But also, I feel like all of these High Lords came in, like, I'm the coolest and biggest and most badass, and Reese just checked them all.
Yeah, he was like, watch yourself.
Yeah.
Buddies.
Yeah, you forget that I am the most powerful High Lord in history. Idiots.
I don't know if you mentioned while I was looking for my quote. I just want to mention this briefly. Tamlin was blaming Reese for what happened to Nesta and Elaine.
Oh, I don't remember.
Saying that Ianthe only sold them out because Reese had her mind already, like, in a thrall.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. Bullshit,
that
dude.
That is bullshit. Ianthe is just a conniving little freaking witch.
Yeah, and he says, what a tragedy to remain young and beautiful. Like, suggesting that...
It's not a
He tried suggesting that Nesta and Elaine were both acting. Because Feyre's such a good actor. Yeah.
I want to slap him.
Yeah.
I want to slap the crap out of that guy.
I hate that man.
Such an idiot.
So watching him be a floppy fish.
Yeah. Gaping fish.
Made my day.
I know, same. Reese says, you know, after all this, of course, they're all kind of looking at Reese like, holy crap, you're a lot. And he's like, so you can question me all you want about my alliance with Hybern, but I could easily alter all of your minds in this room if I wanted to.
Yes.
But I'm not. Like, we're here. We're trying to talk to you. We're that not proof enough? Help. Yeah. And Tarquin comes back with, you know, you were the only ones who came to help me when Hybern attacked Summer, and you asked me for nothing in return. Like, why? Yeah. What's that about? And Reese is like, well, isn't that what friends do? And Tarquin rescinds the blood rubies. He's like, there's nothing else.
Let there be no debts between us.
Yeah. So Tarquin is now warming up to good old Reese dog.
Yeah. I'm trying really hard not to sniff into the microphone.
I feel like it's probably caught back there too.
Probably. But it's better than being right here.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, we got a cold, y'all. It's trash.
A mess.
My daughter, my husband, Sarah, everybody, me a little bit. It's just the time of year. There's so much crap going around.
I jinxed myself is what really happened.
Yeah.
I told you, like, I don't know, 2 weeks ago. I haven't been sick in a while.
It was our fault this time, though.
I mean, I feel like a lot of the time it's your fault.
It's Ethan's fault, specifically. Yeah. It's not mine. Anyway. Then they keep talking. Reese says that he believes Tamlin is willing to fight.
Yeah.
But Baron doesn't.
Yeah.
And he goes on to ask about Lucian. Like, where's my son, guys?
Oh, yeah. He's like, where's my son? He can clarify that Tamlin has good intentions.
And Feyre's like, well, he's helping to guard our city.
Yeah, he's busy.
I have no idea.
Baron's extra worried, I think, because he shares a border with Spring.
Yeah.
So he's like,
sus.
You know, Hybern can easily get into his lands from Spring.
Yeah.
Shit, dog.
Shit, doog. Doogie dog. And then Eris makes some comment about Elaine being Lucian's mate.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what he says, but
I don't remember
more either. Is like, you really like hearing yourself talk. Like, you should just freaking stop.
Yeah, I think she says something like, good to know you still can't shut up.
After 500 years.
After 500 years. And his response is, good to know you still dress like a slut.
Yeah, and...
I know!
Which...
I know.
Then...
I know.
Which is wild. All of this goes down, but I hate him. I also hate Eris. He's an arrogant prick.
Yeah, same.
But Az is...
I friggin' love Azriel.
Me too. I want to give him a smooch.
He attacks.
He ambushes the shit out of Eris.
And he throws a shield up around them so no one can stop him.
Puts him in a bubble.
Yeah.
Which, like, the fact that Azriel could get through the ward that's holding everyone from attacking each other.
Yeah.
Just casually. He just jumps through it. He's like... Yeah, okay, you want to see the real power of the Night Court, you freaking ass? And tackles the crap out of Eris, puts a shield up around him.
Yep.
Baron's, like, throwing flames. He's like, let go, my son! And he's chucking flames at this shield, but it won't give.
Mm-hmm.
And Reese is like, enough. I imagine he's just like, enough.
He's like, Az, quit.
He's not even, like, dedicated to stopping him.
Yeah.
I think Reese wants to see how it plays out, so he's not commanding him.
And also, it's a little bit of a, like, move to help Feyre get some, like...
Yeah, he does...
You know, respect at the end of all of this.
Yeah.
Because he lets her be the one to stop it.
I know. He, like, looks to Feyre, like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
And she gets up and, like, touches Az's shield.
Yeah.
And
she's
is like,
come,
Azrael.
Yeah.
Like he's a dog. I felt like that was weird.
Yeah, same. And he does. He's like, all right.
He stops.
I'm coming.
He still, like, has Eris pinned.
Mm-hmm.
He stops and, like, looks back at her.
Yeah.
And,
I think he, like, throws one last punch in before he gets up, too.
Yeah, he punches him and whispers something in his ear.
Yeah.
He whispers some sort of threat. And then goes and sits by Feyre. And everyone in the room is like, holy shit. Like, looking at Feyre like, you can command the Illyrians in that way.
Yeah.
I mean, she is High Lady, freaking wieners. Of course.
When she gets up to, Baron attacks Azrael with some friggin' flames.
Yeah.
And Feyre shields him.
Yeah.
She's like,
Don't touch him. And then after that, Eris apologizes.
I want to know.
Yeah.
Okay, it was a little bit explained, like, Feyre had some assumptions to why Az could get through the wards for the whole attacking people thing.
Yeah.
But then Baron tried to attack, and nothing happened to him. I want to know why. Plot hole.
What would have happened, though? Did it ever talk about what would happen if you tried to attack through the wards?
Probably. I don't remember, though.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe. But I mean, if it were to like cause you pain or something, like you'd think Az would have gotten messed up by that, even with his shield.
Well, Feyre said something about like his shadow magic is the reason he was able to attack.
Yeah.
Because the ward didn't affect him.
Yeah.
Because of his shadows.
Okay.
So I don't think that he would have had any repercussion. But then, anyways, she tells Baron after he attacks with his fire. And she stops it. She says, "That's twice now we've handed you your asses. I think you'd be sick of... I think you'd be sick of the humiliation."
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
The Night Court is so boss. Eris does apologize to Mor.
He does.
Az must have whispered something super saucy in his ear. And, you know, he just got beat up.
Mm-hmm.
Thiesen's exasperated. He's like, oh, God, this can't be good for anyone. And Helion,
He lying.
He's like, looks like you owe me gold. I think he must have people with him because they were betting.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I knew that he had people. I knew it. I just couldn't remember who they were. But yeah. I'm pretty sure because he was one of the first ones that responded, right? The first three.
Yeah.
And all three of them were bringing people with them.
Yeah, okay.
So.
But he's like, well, looks like you owe me gold. And Rhys was down the bond or something. He was like, well, I guess they weren't the only ones betting on, like, how long it would take a fight to come up.
Uh-huh.
And then, as it all settles, Helion, like, takes Tamlin's charts that he brought in about Hybern and replicates them and sends them off to everybody.
Which is... I wish I had that ability.
Yeah.
To just, like, replicate things with my... brain.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
What would you use it for?
Books, obviously.
Replicating books?
Yeah.
But you'd have to have the book to replicate the books. So
but then I would be, like, sharing them with all my friends, and if you could also replicate things, or, like, I could come to your house.
You could replicate all my books.
And replicate all your books and take them home with me.
And then replicate yours and give me...
Exactly.
Yeah, we'd only ever have to buy one copy of anything.
Exactly.
I love this.
I know. I could replicate all my mom's books. And all of your books. Oh,
give us your books to replicate. Anyways. Then, you know, Helion's looking him over and he's like, okay, two things here.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta destroy the Faebane. We really gotta get rid of that shit. And then Thiessen brings in Nuan?
Nuan, yeah.
Which is his, what, like, tinkerer?
She's a tinkerer. She's
Master tinkerer.
She's the same person who made Lucian's eye.
Yeah, and she has a fancy mechanical hand.
She sure does.
And it's like, gold. Tinkling. And Feyre says she kind of looks like Amryn and wonders if Amryn based her Fae body off of a similar bloodline. Which got me questioning because we were like, I wonder who Amryn went into, like whose body she took. But it sounds like Amryn just made her own body.
Right.
Which, like, how...
Which is interesting.
Yeah, how do?
I don't know.
You just could have created... Okay.
I don't know. Are
you the cauldron, Amryn?
Ooh, theory!
Plot twist! But I guess Nuan created a digestible powder that makes you immune to Faebane.
They had heard rumors about it. about Fabane being used. And she, like, I guess, apparently reached out to Lucian.
Yeah.
Which, like, what did you do? Did you just give him a quick phone call?
Hey.
Hey, Lucian, do you have any samples of that Fabane? He's like, yeah, girl.
Well,
I'll Amazon Prime it to you right now.
Overnight delivery.
Oh.
How I do most shopping. But I am feeding the problem. But Feyre says something about how Lucian seemed really excited that day that he went to research in the city.
Uh-huh.
So he must have been meeting up with Nuon there.
He must have.
But, like, what?
Well, and she, I think Nuon says that, like, Lucian didn't tell y'all because he didn't want to get your hopes up in case it didn't work.
Yeah, who knows how they got in contact, but they did.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I need water.
That's okay.
So she got samples from him, and she goes on to say that, like, her ingestible powder obviously does not protect you from, like, Fabane objects, or can't dull the effect of Fabane on, like, shields or whatever.
Yeah, I think what it was saying was, like, you know, the antidote isn't going to stop a spear covered in Fabane from going through your chest, but
Yeah.
the Fabane won't have any effect on you.
Right. It's not
a fix-all.
It doesn't make you
still have to fight and protect
impenetrable.
yourself.
Impenetrable. Yeah. But then Baron is like, because he's just Baron.
How do you spell that?
I'm not gonna try. He starts suggesting that Nuon is not credible because she's from Zion.
Yeah.
Exion.
I think it was Zion.
Zion.
I don't know for sure.
Which apparently, like, fought with the Hybern in the last war.
Yeah.
Or not the, what are they called?
The
diehards. Fought loyalists. I literally have
Loyalists.
it written down. It was just another line down.
Wow.
The loyalists.
Wow.
The Zionians fought with the loyalists. And so she must not be trustworthy. And Thiesen's like, excuse me.
Excuse me.
That's where my mom's from, okay?
Yeah, watch what you say, Baron.
Baron. Idiot.
You fat lump.
And Baron's like, well, we're not taking that shit. We're not taking your antidote.
Yeah.
And Eris is like, I will. And he's like, no, you won't.
Mm-hmm. And Feyre's like, I will.
Yeah. And Reese is like, my whole court will.
I see your no and raise you a whole court.
I just felt like we had to go back and forth for every character. We have to act it out one day. Act out a scene. Tamron. Who's that?
Tamron. I feel like that's probably a real name somewhere.
Oh, yeah,
Tamron?
sure. Yeah, somebody has it. But Tamlin does not say much.
Yeah, of course not.
He does say that he moved his people to the east.
Uh-huh.
Which Helion's like, that's my second point. We gotta evacuate the spring court.
Yeah. I like how he waited until you were done talking.
Just sniffle. We gotta evacuate them and get all the people to the autumn and summer court.
They sure do. And, Baron is like,
Yeah. Baron
no,
refuses.
sir.
I
do not have the resources for that.
riffraff. I'm not letting them in.
Yeah.
And Tarkin. Go ahead.
Really, really despise that man.
Uh-huh.
I hate him almost as much as I hate Tamlin.
Yeah, he's not cool.
Yeah.
He's kind of rude. And he's just, like, stuck in his ways, you know?
Yeah.
He doesn't care about anybody else. Even his sons.
Yep.
But yeah, he refuses, but Tarkin's like, I'll take all of them if I have
like,
to.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got the room.
Like, we got space. It's fine.
Yeah, he says that, regardless of Tamlin's involvement with Hybern, his people are still innocent.
Yeah.
So they shouldn't have to suffer.
Send them on over to the summer court. And then Thiessen asks about the humans a bit. And Nesta's like, the queen's betrayed the humans. They've been working with Hybern. There's no one there to help them. And Baron's like, well, that's not our problem. Because of course. And Feyre's like, yeah, it is. It is my problem. Thank you very much. They're defenseless. And she calls Baron a coward.
Yep.
It's like, you're a coward.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, he is a coward.
Call him out, Feyre.
Yeah, Feyre. She's really leaning into this high lady role.
Yeah. I think everyone's kind of sick of him at this point, too. Everyone's like,
dude,
why are you even here, honestly?
why are you being
I would
difficult?
rather Tamlin.
Well, at least Tamlin said he's willing to help.
Yeah.
Baron has not.
I mean, he might be lying, but...
Yeah. Baron hasn't confirmed one way or another. And Feyre asks him, like, are you going to freaking join us, bro? Or what's good?
And he's like, I haven't decided
He's
yet.
like, meh, I don't know.
I go think on it.
Yeah.
And Cassian tells him.
Yeah.
He's like, bitch, you don't have time to think.
Yeah.
We need this now.
And he's like, well, that's too bad. And Feyre's like, well, get out if you're not going to help. Like, just leave. Get out of here.
Hang on. Hang on.
Oh, I'm hanging.
Cassian's like, no, you don't have time. You need to start rallying your armies now if you're going to join us. And Baron says to him, I don't take orders from the bastards of lesser fae whores. You don't talk to my Cassian like that. Yeah. I will murder you. I should not say that on the internet.
Doesn't Feyre come back at something like, that bastard born...
I think it's Nesta. Yeah, Nesta tells him,
He's
something along those lines. Wow. What were the words that just came out?
Some conglomeration.
Yeah, she's like, that bastard very well could be the one that saves your life on the battlefield, so shut up.
Yeah, shut your mouth. And then Feyre then tells him to get the heck out if he's not going to be helpful. And Baron starts talking about Rhys being Martha's whore. Mm-hmm. And he says, will he get on his knees for Hybern or just spread his... and is cut off.
By Feyre! I know!
Blasting the shit out of him with his own magic.
I know, I love it. Friggin' snaps.
Snaps to Feyre! They talked about her not doing
Yeah, I'm like, they discussed that she was going to keep her magic hidden.
Yeah.
But she lost her shit,
she did.
I don't blame her.
I mean,
I would have done the same thing.
He was talking mad smack about her mate.
Yeah.
And Rhys is, obviously uncomfortable trying to, dig up all of these emotions surrounding Martha. Uh-huh. Especially as they're sitting there, talking shit about him and how he was the problem. He's like, listen, guys.
I was just trying to help.
I did what I could.
Please stop talking about it. I'm traumatized.
So Bear's like, fire. You stupid. And then Baron Shields, right as her flames come at him, but she's just, going to town. She's not letting up. She's hitting him with flame, freaking white light from the day court, some water. She's throwing it all at him. Yeah. She's trying to drown him.
Have a little bit of everything.
Uh-huh. And it's starting to work.
Yeah.
His shields are, starting to buckle.
Yeah.
And Rhys has to, grab her and be like, Feyre, I think you've proved your point.
You proved your point!
Wake up.
Stop.
Wake up! And down the bond, he says something like, he has nothing of joy in his life, but we do. This bastard's words mean nothing.
Yeah. It's basically, it's not worth it.
Yeah, not worth it. Please don't kill him. Don't do that.
We'll have a bigger problem on our hands. Yeah. And Tarkeen, during all of this, is like, oh, so that's how you got through my wards. I get it now.
Oh.
Wow!
I feel like if Tarkeen were a little more observant, not as enamored with Feyre, he may have noticed that she has his power, especially because she was playing with it in the bath all day.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad he wasn't watching her while she was in the bath. That's kind of weird.
That's weird. But her just being there, and if his words are tied to his magic, would that not have given it what other way would there have been?
Yeah, I don't know, and I think it's Callias. Is that what his name
Callias,
is?
yeah.
Callias says something about, I knew there was a piece missing. I could feel it.
Yeah.
Every time something rubbed against it.
Yeah, that was a weird thing to say, guy.
I think it was him. But, wouldn't all of them have felt that?
Yeah.
Little piece missing?
You'd think.
Yes. I don't know.
But during Feyre's explosion, she had, burned...
It was Helion that said that.
Oh. That he has
He could feel it like a fish missing a scale.
Oh. But Feyre had burned the Lady of Autumn Court.
Yeah, on accident.
And she apologizes immediately, profusely, and Baron's like, don't talk to her, you human filth, or something. And Rhys just disintegrates his chair.
Yeah.
So Baron falls on his ass. I just love that Rhys's moves in all of this are power plays to be you're little. He's just belittling them. You mean nothing. I can knock you on your ass. I can shut you up. You just stop. Which is lovely.
Yeah.
And
I love him.
Baron's like, this meeting's over.
Oh, I'm gonna leave.
But
Nesta stops him.
She talks about how she saw the king's intentions while she was in the cauldron.
Oh, yeah.
About how, like...
She does. And how Hybern's gonna make an example of all of them.
And how he'll take down the wall and butcher everyone on either side. It doesn't matter. And she urges Baron to fight. And he's like, I shall consider it.
Yeah.
And then leaves. Takes his whole family and goes.
Yeah.
Eris is the last one to leave. He looks kind of longingly back at them. Like he is sad that that's how it went.
Yeah. It's, I'm lost. I'm sorry.
You're good. Do you want me to keep talking or hold on?
You're fine.
Well, after Baron leaves,
silence.
It's like all of the High Lords processing Feyre's magic in their own way. Like Claes is just sort of awestruck. He's just absorbing it. The fact that she has his eyes.
He also asks her if she's mastered it.
She's like, all of them.
She's like, yeah.
Yeah, every last one.
Of course I have. What do you think I am, an idiot?
Obviously. Yes. And then Tarquin's like, you know what? You saved our asses, so I guess that's good enough payment. Like, you saved our asses under the mountain, so you deserve it. And Helion is like, it seems like she took more than a kernel, because she has all of them, I assume, is what he's getting at. And he does talk about how he has a scale missing. He's a fishy with the scale missing. Yep. Would a fish notice that, though? I'm not convinced.
I don't know. I'm not a fish, I couldn't tell you.
Damn it. I was hoping you could. Blub, blub. Blub, blub, mother. Yeah. But Feyre after this feels like she sort of ruined everything.
Yeah.
By losing control.
She thinks that it's, all of their alliances are falling apart because she lost control and showed them all her magic.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm probably too far away like that.
Probably. And Tarquin, at some point, he's like, y'all, it's already done. She has all the magic, so the only thing we can do is, like, accept it or kill her. So we just gotta, like, move on.
Was it Tarquin that said that?
Yeah, that's what I wrote down.
I wrote Thiessen.
Oh, well, maybe it was
either
one of the T Lords.
It's a mystery.
Not Tamlin, though.
Not Tam Tom. Tom.
And Rhys, even at the mention of Feyre being murdered, like, oozes his dark magic. He's like, don't even say that, you freaking fool. There's a quote. I wonder if you're finding the same one.
What page are you going to?
445.
Yep, sure enough.
Oh, shoot dang. Shoot dang, dog.
Who's gonna get there first?
You might.
It's me.
Okay, I'm there too, but you go for it.
You can go. I feel like you read better than I do.
Okay.
Is it the quote about her not taking their power?
Yeah.
Alright, cool.
Because they're all like, she took magic, maybe we should kill her.
Powers.
Yeah.
We should kill her.
And she says, I did not take it, you gave it to me. Along with the gift of my immortal life, I am grateful for both, but they are mine now, and I will do with them what I will. I will use these powers, my powers, to smash Hybern to bits. I will burn them and drown them and freeze them. I will use these powers to heal the injured, to shatter and freeze them. Nope, to shatter through Hybern's wards. I have done so already, and I will do so again. And if you think that my possession of a kernel of your magic is your biggest problem, then your priorities are severely out of order.
Mm-hmm. You tell him, Feyre.
Yes, High Lady of the Night Court.
And then, after Feyre gives that nice little speech, Vivian, who is Callias' wife and mate, stands up and says she'll fight.
And so does the Lady of Autumn.
Yes.
Nope, not Autumn.
No. She's gone.
Yeah, she's
Cressida.
out. Yeah, thank you.
And stands as well. And then Tarquin and Callias. And Helion. And then, finally, Thiessen and Tamlin. So they've got 6 of the 7 High Lords agreeing to fight.
They sure
with
do.
Them.
They're all down.
About freaking time.
I know, my God. And then they talk about war for a long time. They just discuss it for hours.
I feel like there's bickering and...
Yeah, they're keeping on with their antics.
They're sassy.
So they're trying to plot.
Sassying.
They're sassying all over the place.
Yep.
And then Thiesen's like, yeah, it's late, but you can stay here if you want. We can resume our conversation in the morning, and everyone chooses to stay.
Everyone's still real leery of Tamlin, too. Like,
yeah.
They're not giving a whole lot of information.
Yeah, they're holding back on what they let out.
Just get out of here, Tampon.
Yeah, leave. Nobody wants you here. And everyone decides to stay, and they all leave the, like, gathering room or whatever, and Claes and Vivian are the only ones left, and say to Rhys that they have some troops, but not too much. Not a lot. And once they get back to their room for the night court, Az is super withdrawn.
He is.
He's feeling some type of way about having beaten the crap out of Varys.
Yeah.
So he's just sort of like pondering in the corner.
He's moping a little bit.
Yeah. And Rhys tells Feyre that she handled everything beautifully. And she was like, even with my explosion? He's like, because of your explosion.
Yeah.
Like, I think that is really what sealed the deal.
Yeah.
And then freaking Heliod comes.
Yeah, he comes a-pounding.
He comes
in more ways than one.
He comes knocking, and Moore's like, don't answer that. And Rhys is like, it's fine. Don't worry about it. And he saunters in, and he's all like merry. He's like, sorry about that.
Chipper.
Sorry about that arrogant asshole facade that I was.
Sorry, I acted like a bastard.
Yeah, the bastard act. He's nice and chill. Apparently him and Rhys seemed like good buddies.
Yeah. And, like, Rhys acts like he knew that all of this was going to happen. Which I guess if that is something that always happens, he would know. But I'm like, did they communicate somehow before this meeting?
I was wondering the same thing. Like, maintaining this hard exterior or something. But maybe Helion just does that.
Maybe that's how he is at all the meetings ever.
Yeah, but Rhys knows better.
Yeah.
Like, they're close enough that he knows that Helion's not a bastard.
That must be it. Because I feel like I don't know. I feel like Rhys would have told Feyre if he had been in contact with him, but would he have?
Maybe. You'd think.
I feel like there's a lot of scheming going on at all times.
There is, but I feel like they keep each other abreast.
Yeah, most of the time.
Most of the time. But Helion says that his troops are ready to meet the Illyrians in the Myrmidons, which is like a mountain range. And then they plan to join Thiesen's forces.
You skipped something very important.
Did I?
You did.
What did I just skip?
So he comes in and he sits on the couch across from Mor and Asriel and Cassian.
Yeah.
And says, it's been 4 centuries, and you guys still haven't accepted my offer.
Yeah.
And through the bond, Rhys tells Feyre that Elion wants them all in a bed together at the same time. And he has been pining after them all for 4 centuries.
I love that. He just wants to bang the whole inner circle.
Yeah.
Well, at least the Bat Boys and more.
Same.
Let's be real. Who doesn't?
Come on.
Come on. Yeah, he's poking fun. And of course, Mord and Cass and everyone were like, yeah. But their troops are going to join up and then go to Thiesen's forces before heading to the Calais' border near summer. They start talking about Baron a little bit and how, if he doesn't join up with us, his court's going to be the battleground.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be where shit hits the fan.
Yeah. And I think they say that, like, he'll realize this at some point and he will help us.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to realize it before it's too late.
Hopefully. And they also talk about how he made mistakes in the last war, though. Yeah. Like, he got his...
Oh, yeah, he did.
He got his wife He sent his wife to her sisters. And they were murdered. The sisters were. And his wife fled, but was captured by hybrid beasts. And Helion's the one who saved her.
Yeah.
And apparently... They had a little love triangle. They were having an affair.
Did you see?
And what does Feyre realize?
Well, Feyre realizes that Helion is freaking Lucian's father.
Yeah! Whoa.
Which makes so much sense. She's like, this must be why Lucian is his mother's favorite child, because he is the child of the man that she actually loves.
Yep, and why the brothers hate him. And why his dad hates him.
And why his dad is a D-bag.
Big old D-bag. Yeah.
Do you think Baron knows?
Yeah, I think so. I think they talk about it a little bit. I think they say, like, there was no real way to prove it, because Lucian shares, like, a passing resemblance to Baron, but it stopped after she got pregnant. So I think that I don't know. I think
Yeah.
Baron probably knows. But then she's like, that means he's also Helian's sole heir.
Yeah.
Lucian
Yeah.
is. He could be freaking High Lord in the day court.
Yeah. There's also a moment where she's, like, kind of compared to Feyre in, like, before Baron found out about the affair, she was happy and bubbly and happy.
Yeah.
And then Baron found out about the affair, and now she's, like, the shell of a person, much like Feyre was with Tamlin.
Yeah.
Which is really sad.
It is. She's not with who she's supposed to be with.
Yeah.
Poor Lady of the Autumn Court.
I know.
But also just woman up.
I know.
I mean, Baron's kind of scary.
Leave that guy.
If Tamlin
probably murder her. Let's be real.
I know. Like if Tammy is any example of what happens when a High Lord loses his possession.
Yeah.
Minus Rhys. But then Nesta, I think she had like gone to her room. Feyre like wants to go check on her.
Yeah.
After everything that went down, and Nesta's like, we got to get out of here.
Yeah. Does Feyre go up or does Nesta come into the room where...
I think Feyre's planning to go, but Nesta comes out.
Okay. So they like meet halfway.
Yeah, Nesta's like, I need to talk to you alone. And so
Yeah.
she takes Feyre away and is like, something's wrong. We need to leave immediately. And of course, Rhys and Cass and everyone. Cass comes in. He like knows something's up.
Yeah.
How does he know? What's going on with them?
I don't know. They've definitely got some weird pull to each other.
They do. Cass
Cassian comes in and he's like, what's wrong?
Yeah.
Are you okay? Baby.
Sweetie, honey, what's going on? And so he and Az go to scout to see if anything is amiss. They leave. They don't find anything. They find nothing.
Yeah. Nesta describes the feeling... I just want to read this quick little quote.
Yeah.
She says, it feels like there's this dread, this sense that I forgot something but can't remember what.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, that doesn't sound that bad. That happens to me every day.
I am always forgetting things and can't remember
And
what
also, you can't remember because you forgot. Duh.
Obviously. But yeah, she's spooked. Something's going on.
Yeah.
And so they scout, nothing's amiss.
Yep, they come back and they're like, it's fine.
Yeah.
And they contacted Amryn and Valaris is fine too.
Yeah, all is well.
Mm-hmm.
And then the night progresses and Moore is ready and reeling to bang Helion.
Yeah.
She's like flirting up a storm. They go to dinner, I think, all the High Lords. And Moore's like flirting with him. And Feyre's like, what's up with that? To race down the bond. And he's like, well, she got spooked and Az scared the shit out of her.
Yeah.
And this is like her way of distracting
Coping.
herself.
Yeah.
And that Az and Moore have never admitted feelings to one another.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just in the balance.
Which
So,
is kinda sad.
and they've had lovers and neither of them hold it against each other.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
it is what it is.
They're like on the same page at least.
Yeah. And
Or something.
yeah, something in the same
They have an
sphere.
understanding.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't say... Yeah, never mind. It's
Neither
not
of them will say anything.
Yeah.
And then Feyre and Rhys before bed sort of check in with each other. And they talk a little bit about, like, the wings of his mom and sister and how Feyre found out that Tamlin had burned them.
And he's like,
glad.
I'm so glad they did.
Yeah.
I mean, he did.
He's like, I'm glad he did. It was sort of like finally letting him rest.
Mm-hmm.
And then Feyre's like, it feels really weird that Tamlin's in the house. Like, I don't want to have sex tonight.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, okay, that's
It's
fine.
like, it feels weird sharing a bed, but I really can't bang you tonight.
Yeah, he's
Sorry.
like, that's fine. She's like, will you hold me? He's like, always.
I know.
Always.
I know.
Them being sweet all the time. And then the next morning, did you have a quote?
Yeah, but I think it's after whatever you're going to say.
The next morning, Moore seems distant after having banged Helion.
Yeah.
And they start,
Obviously.
preparing for the meeting, and Feyre gets dressed again, and now she's like, instead of a star, I am dressed as the Queen of Night. Like, she's all in dark and a little more ominous. Because they want to show that they're powerful as shit in this second meeting, you know? They want to really, really give them the intimidation tactics.
Yeah. I do not have a quote.
Okay.
It was a lie.
And once they start meeting again, all the High Lords are back to their antics. Arguing, being ridiculous. And Helion tells Tamlin that he and Tarkin's troops might be able to hold the front lines long enough for everyone else to, like, gather up.
Gather all their people, yeah.
And then
Tamlin's like, it won't be that easy because Feyre ruined my court.
Yeah, there's not enough of them because they all turned their backs on me.
Yeah.
I was like, it was bound to happen one way or another, Tamlin.
Yeah, he says he only has a third of his people left after.
I mean, fair. You're
happened.
a douchebag.
Yeah. I'm surprised you have that many, buddy.
Truly. But then all of a sudden, Nesta freaking lurches forward and vomits into the reflection pool.
Yeah, okay, so she, like, I want to know if you had the same reaction during this moment, because Tamlin says, you know, I only have a third of my people left after Feyre, and Nesta gets up and, like, lunges forward. Did you think she was going to attack him?
Yeah.
Because I did.
I thought she was tired of his mouth running.
I'm like, yeah, Nesta. Oh, just kidding. Are you okay, girl?
Yeah, you good? Yeah, I thought she was going to step in for Feyre, but no, she just had to puke.
Yep.
No big deal.
And she's like,
Except
guys,
it is.
something's wrong.
There's a shudder. There's a shudder in the mountain. The whole castle sways, which is not cool. Rhys, like, throws out his magic to protect them all because there's, like, rubble falling. It's a whole thing.
Yeah. And then he spears his magic after everything's, like, settled a little bit.
Yeah.
He throws his magic out to, like, see if he can find what's wrong. And he's like, oh, shit, guys.
Guys.
The king just used the freaking cauldron
And destroyed
the wall on the continent and in Prithian.
The
The wall is no longer.
wall is gone. We were too late.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
They are screwed.
They really are.
Yeah.
This is not good.
No.
Really not good at all.
Really bad.
So, of course, everyone jumps into action. They all leave. They're like, all right, shit, we got stuff to do.
We gotta go.
So they head back to the townhouse.
Yep.
The Night Court does, obviously.
Yep.
And
Thiessen promises before they leave, he's like, I'm gonna get all of you shipments of this Febane powder resistant thing.
stuff, yeah. Febane immunity powder.
Yep.
And everyone else, like, confirms the plans that they had made except for Tamlin. Tamlin doesn't say shit before he leaves.
Yep.
And it's, I think, Rhys says something along the lines of, like, Feyre's attachment, or no, Nesta's connection with the cauldron makes her sort of like a sounding bell, and that's part of why they wanted to capture her. Hybern.
Yeah. Not only because she took its power, but because
She can warn them.
she's a freaking warning bell
She
now.
is. She'd say, oh, guys, I feel weird. I don't know how that's helpful, though. Like, what are they going to do? The
Right.
next time something goes down with the cauldron, she could be like, hey, yeah, so it's happening.
But
And it happened really quickly before. Well, I
Yeah.
guess the night before she warned him. So I guess it gave some
true,
time.
it did. I forgot about that because, yeah, nothing happened the night before.
Yeah, but still, what are they going to do? They can't just, like, winnow over to the king and his cauldron. That's not going to work.
Bitch, quit.
Stop. Do not
Could
use
you
it.
quit it, please?
But then Rhys offers to, like, go to their family, the Archeron estate, and take all the humans into Valaris.
Yeah, I think Nesta's feeling really guilty
Yeah.
about, like, not being able to do something
Before the wall came
before
down.
the wall came down.
Yeah.
And she's expressing that, and Rhys is like, well, I got you. We can bring them all to Valaris.
And she's like, they're not going to come.
She's like, nah, dude,
They won't.
absolutely not.
Yeah. And then Elaine speaks up for the first time in not a cryptic message.
I know.
She's like, you can just take him to Grayson's. No big deal.
Yeah, they'll be
Which is
fine.
her betrothed human fae hater. And talks about how their estate is heavily guarded. They have
They
a
have
whole...
thick stone walls. I'm like,
Great. Against fae.
against magical creatures, you think your thick stone is gonna be good enough?
The thick stone is it.
Come
But they also have
on.
a shit ton of ash weapons.
Yeah. They have a grove of ash trees
a grove of ash trees.
in the estate. I'm
Yeah.
like, where'd you get that?
Yeah, where?
I
In the
thought
world?
ash was supposed to be, like, really hard to find.
Yeah, I don't know where they got that.
I don't know either.
They also have hounds that can smell fae
Yeah.
and hunt them.
Interesting.
I feel like if any fae could just kill a hound real easily.
Yeah.
But okay.
Yeah. And I think it was Feyre that was like, I don't want to know how they trained those hounds.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Couldn't have been
torturing
good.
Faye.
Couldn't have been good.
Couldn't have been good.
And then Elaine's like, you gotta glamour me
Mm-hmm.
to look human, and I'll talk to Grayson.
Yeah.
I'll be the one to do it.
I got this. He'll listen to me.
Yeah, and Reese and Cass talk about how they need to get the Illyrian legions up and ready. So they're going to stop there first, and they're going to leave in an hour.
Yep.
Um,
Feyre also tells Elaine, like, hey, just so you know, if this goes bad,
I'm going to kill him.
I'm gonna defend you. And Elaine is like, just don't kill him, please.
And she's like, I can't promise you that. Sorry about it, but I'll try my best to not. I know, Elaine, I know that you're hung up on this, but they want to murder you now. I mean, I think she just hasn't accepted that, like, her being Faye will change anything.
Yeah.
And then this is when Feyre starts thinking about Nesta having found a purpose and trying to find a way to repair the wall.
Yeah.
And she starts to try to get her occupied again. And she's like, okay, well, you'll need to stay close to us this for everything, so you can warn us if you feel something with the cauldron happening again. And then Cassian comes over to Nesta. And he's like, I'm not going with you guys, but you got to protect yourself. And he starts running through some, like, self-defense and stuff. He gives her a Illyrian blade, I think, or something.
Something, yeah. Yeah, I think it's a blade.
But he starts showing her moves on how she could defend herself.
Yeah.
That's his way. And he's
Yeah.
like, I told you to come to training. Because she's struggling with it a little bit. But then, do you have a quote?
I might. I'm
Okay.
trying to find it.
I believe.
Oh, there it is. Nope, that's not it.
Oh.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Okay, yeah, it's fine.
So they have an hour before they're leaving.
They do.
And Feyre decides to go pay a visit to good old Amryn.
She does.
She's like, hey, what's
She's
up?
like, hey, do you have everything you need? Because we're leaving. And you're staying here, so... I need you to do me a favor.
Do you know about the beastie in the library?
Yeah.
And Amryn's like, yeah, that's Braxis. And I'm like, why do you know anything about it?
I know.
I mean, I guess he's also an ancient beast.
Yeah.
Don't mess with him. Amryn's like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, she's like, you don't want to know about him. And Feyre's like, well, I have a bargain.
She's like, yeah, I know.
It. Her.
That.
It. I'm going to call it it.
Great.
For some reason, I think it's a woman.
I don't know. I think it was a dude, but nonetheless, Braxis.
Yeah. Oh. Amryn's like, you don't want to know about it. And Feyre's like, well, I have a bargain with it already, so, I mean, I kind of have to. I promised it company.
Yeah.
Come on.
And
Help
then,
me.
And then she's like, I want to make another bargain.
Yeah.
And you're coming with me now.
Right now.
We're going.
And that's the end of my notes.
Yeah, the sickness, y'all. We both read a lot. I finished my notes right before this. So I'll try to steer us in the right direction.
Yeah.
We'll probably miss a lot, but
I
it's
might
okay.
just not talk a lot.
It's okay.
On brand.
I'm sure it will, I talk too much.
No.
Okay.
It's fine.
Sklonky. But anyhow, Amryn and Feyre go to see Bryaxis.
They do.
Bryaxis?
Bryaxis. I don't know.
Whatever.
I actually have no idea.
Yeah. And
Boo-doo-boo.
they chat with him. It. Feyre's like, will you fight with us?
Yeah. And it's like,
She'll like,
what are you going to give me in return?
We'll free you. Amryn will lift the wards. And he's like, this is my home. I just want a window. I want to see the sun.
Stars and clouds.
Yeah.
I think.
He wants a window into the bottom of underneath the mountain. And Feyre's like, well, that sounds complicated, but sure, we'll make it happen. No big deal. And then everyone, they leave. And everyone is getting ready to head out to the Illyrian war camp.
Uh-huh.
And what? What's up?
Did you say that Bryaxis agreed to the...
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
it.
I didn't, but yeah, he did.
Okay.
Bryaxis was like, yeah, that sounds good. Get me a window,
I'll
and
do it.
I'll murder only Hybern.
Yeah, Feyre did a good job of being specific with this.
She's like, only Hybern and only until we tell you to stop. Like, you can't just be on a murder spree. And Briaxis is like, all right, bet.
Fine.
Make me a window and we'll do it. And she's like, all right, you're going to wait down here until I summon you, basically. Yep. And Amren will lift the wards when it's time. Mm-hmm. So then they are all getting ready to head to the Illyrian camp, and Amren is trying to find another way to nullify the cauldron, so she's staying behind. She's trying to decode more. Yeah. And Cass and Nesta winnow out with more. Mm-hmm. Elaine's with Az, because obviously, I love them.
I know.
And then this is when, what?
I really cannot wait for Elaine's book.
I know, same.
Because I have to know what happens.
I need to know, even though I'm not that invested in Elaine. But I bet I would be after a book about her.
Yeah, I'm invested in Elaine if Asriel's involved.
But also, we love Lucian, too.
That's true.
Yeah.
I forget about Lucian.
I'm sure it's going to be a weird...
he's not here right now.
Love triangle. That's fair.
We'll see.
But, what?
Nothing. I can't talk about it.
Okay.
I literally cannot talk about it.
Literally cannot. Sounds good. But then Feyre and Rhys are the last ones to go. This is what I was talking about before. And before they winnow out, Rhys is like, I wonder if we'll see it again. Because this is probably like the last time they're going to be in Valaris.
Until
before
after,
shit hits the fan.
Or never again.
They might just die.
They might die.
And Feyre's like, we will. Yeah. We will. We're going to do it.
We'll be back.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
So then they go to the Illyrian war camp.
They do.
And Devlin is still a wiener.
Frickin' Devlin.
Devlin?
I hate him.
Yeah, he's still being a butthole.
I really don't like him.
No, he's misogynistic and cruddy.
Yeah.
And hates the bastard-born Illyrians that are stronger than he could ever be.
Of course. Because everything's just a freaking power play to these people.
Yeah, of course. And Rhys is starting to give him commands about what to do and how to prepare. And Neston What?
Neston.
Devlin looks at Nesta and he's like, what is that? Again!
Keep it away from the children.
What is that? He says something like, she's no more Fae than we are or something. And he asks if she's a witch.
Yep.
And Nessa's like, yep.
Yeah, I am.
And Cassian's like, no, you shouldn't say that. And so Feyre takes her sisters and more to go to their tent. And Nesta asks about, like, the difference between witches and fae.
Yeah.
I don't even know if you remember anything about that.
I'm looking. I know I have it tabbed, so I'm going to try to find it.
I can give you what I remember, but...
Yeah, go for it while I look.
I mean, and more essentially says...
I found it!
Oh, great. Tell me then.
Witches amass power beyond their natural reserve. They use spells and archaic tools to harness more power to them than the cauldron allotted, and use it for whatever they desire, good or ill. Whereas, the Fae just have their powers that the cauldron gave them.
Yeah. Okay.
So, witches sound real bad.
Yeah, they do. And
I want one.
Yeah. I want a witch. I don't want to be a witch. I just want to have one. And while they're in the tent, more glamours Elaine to look like a human.
Yep.
And I think Elaine didn't realize how much the Fae gave her beauty and stuff. Yeah. Like, she looks a little drab comparatively.
And muted.
And Moore's like, but you're pretty still, it's fine.
I love her.
I know. And then they head out to freaking Grayson's Manor.
They sure do, and this is a whole freaking adventure.
This is a whole thing.
Oh my god, I hate this man too.
I know, everyone sucks. But they get there.
And Feyre describes it like, Feyre describes it like a prison.
Yeah.
Like it looks like a prison. And
with its thick walls.
Yeah. That thick stone, though, you know what I mean?
But she also looks at it like this is not going to do much of anything. Yeah, it's a good thing they have escape tunnels and stuff, like Elena had told them that they did. It is heavily guarded, but they still probably wouldn't be able to do much. And Elaine tells the guards, like, tell Grayson that Elaine Archeron begs for sanctuary.
Yeah.
So
they go, the guard goes and gets him.
Yeah.
And then they come to the freaking...
They won't let him into the keep. They put him in the guardhouse, And Feyre starts feeling really trapped because it's small and dark and
not enough air.
Yeah, it's not enough. And Nesta sort of catches on and says, I haven't been able to be in a bathtub since the cauldron. I was like, oh, no.
Reese also, like, talks to her down the bond and is like, you know, this place can't trap you. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Calm down.
Everything's fine.
Settle.
Remember that we could destroy it if we wanted to. Real easy. And Feyre promises Nesta that they're going to build her something.
I know.
Because she's like, I've been using buckets.
I have to use buckets.
Oh, Nesta.
I know. Why wouldn't you just tell someone?
Well, she's probably ashamed that she's, like, weakened.
It's the pride thing.
Yeah. But then Grayson and Lord Nolan, his dad, finally arrive. They keep him waiting for a while, but they finally arrive.
They do.
And Elaine and Grayson have this weird moment where they're both like
stare off, I feel like.
Yeah, they're both like shook to see the other. And they're like,
I really didn't like that very much.
Why not?
It was weird.
And Elaine doesn't really speak, I think, because she's so taken aback by Grayson.
Yeah, I think she's like shaking and you know.
And she's probably scared.
Yeah.
She has a glamour, but she doesn't know if it's working. And then Nesta's like, all right, guys, the wall's fallen. Let's get down to business.
Yeah.
And he's like, Grayson looks at Nesta and now Faye, and he's like, how? She's like, well, I was turned by the cauldron.
I was kidnapped.
There's some evil shit afoot, y'all.
Yep.
Rhysand introduces the Night Court. They decide to be, like, truthful about all of that. And Elaine's like, we're here to beg you to help the humans.
Yep.
And then...
It was Feyre that stepped forward, not Rhys.
Oh, to introduce everybody?
Yeah. She's like, I am the High Lady of Night Court. And this is my husband, Rhys.
Yeah, my husband. Because mate would freak him out.
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, Elaine, we're here to beg you to help the humans. And then Grayson's like, you know, I might do that if you weren't lying through your teeth.
Yeah. She's not immortal, is she?
Yeah. Someone told us different. And they're like, but who?
Who could it friggin' be?
Who frickin' could it be?
Guess who steps out of the friggin' shadow? It's Jurian.
Jurian.
Are you kidding me?
I told him. What's up?
Friggin' lazy eye.
That lazy eye. It's back in its socket, at least. But yeah, Jurian comes out, and everyone's like, it's Jurian.
And the crowd goes wild.
I don't know if I'd cheer for him, but, you know. I mean, I don't hate him.
I don't hate him.
It's just us. You know?
Oh, ow.
Yeah. Oh, are you okay?
My head hurts.
I'm sorry. But Jurian goes on.
Yeah, this
to talk about
wild.
A lot. Yeah.
Wild. I forgot about all of
Me
this.
Me too. Same.
All of it.
Just as much as I forgot about Tamlin showing up.
Yeah.
But Jurian's like, listen, y'all. The King Hybern resurrected me, assuming that I'd gone insane with Amarantha, and that he'd be able to turn me to his side. So I, like, woke up, surrounded by my enemies, and have been essentially, like, fooling them ever since.
Yeah.
To think that I'm in service to them.
Yeah.
All the while I'm plotting against them.
Yeah, and he tells Rhys, like, I thought you would look in my mind.
Yeah, why didn't you?
You should have. Why didn't you?
Yeah.
Because you would have known that I'm not terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. And Rhys is like, I didn't want to see her.
Yep.
He didn't want to see Amarantha. Poor Rhys.
I know.
He's so scarred still. And then they talk a little bit
Moira's
about...
I'm sorry.
No.
Moira's like, you mean to say you've been helping us?
Yeah.
Excuse me?
Yeah. What about Miriam and Draken? And he's like, well, I don't want to kill him.
Yeah.
They ask him if he wants to kill him. He's like, no, I actually want to beg forgiveness.
I want to apologize.
Yeah, Draken and I used to be buds.
Yeah.
And I feel real bad. And he has a flying legion that could really help us. So I'm really trying to find him. And he also says, like, they expect that of me. They expect me to want vengeance on Miriam and Draken. So, like, I'm just playing into that. But really, I'm trying to find them because they could help turn the tide in this war.
Yep.
And you need to find them.
Yeah.
And they're like, we can't. I don't know what to tell you. Like, we can't.
We tried. We tried to find them.
And then Jurian tells them that freaking Tammy, right after the meeting...
Where did he go, Danielle?
He went to the freaking
Hybern.
And told them everything.
Told them everything.
I know.
I
cannot.
I almost ripped my book in half when that happened.
I can't. Well, I mean, he didn't confirm his plans one way or another before he left.
Yeah.
But he told him everything, and that Hybern is about to attack Summer. Like, tomorrow. On land.
Yep.
They're going to march in and attack them. And
so
they're
mad.
like, oh my god.
Poor freaking Summer.
I know.
Again.
They just keep getting slapped around.
Yeah.
I wonder why. Why are they targeting them?
I don't know.
Because I guess it's the closest to Hybern. I'm pretty sure it's on the shore between the...
Oh, yeah.
Like, where the island... Anyway.
But then why did they need Springcourt so bad? Why not go in through Summer?
Because it borders the wall, I think. And they were trying to take the wall down.
Right.
Yeah.
Got it. Now the wall's down and they can attack Summer. Got it.
Yeah.
My brain.
And I think we heard Dagdan and Brana were talking about Dagdan about how the troops were gonna work their way through Prithian and meet them down there.
Yeah.
And then head to the continent.
Yeah, you're right.
But anyway, Jurian then goes on to talk about the Sixth Queen, Vasa, and how she was banished to the Death Lord. Like, she wasn't sick, like everyone said, and Mor's like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, we already knew that from someone.
Someone.
Who told us that she wasn't sick? I don't remember.
The Golden Queen said that she wasn't sick, but I don't remember how we found out about the rest. That she was on the continent. Elaine talked about a Firebird.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then,
and she told them that the Sixth Queen was alive or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Jurian talks about how she was trying to warn all the mortals of Hybern, and that and nobody in this mentions that Lucian is on the hunt for her.
Yeah,
they feel it's best to keep that under wraps,
which makes sense to me.
Yeah, and during all this, Elaine then apologizes to Grayson, like, I didn't mean to deceive you. And he goes on to say something like, you belong to someone else, I don't want you. Because they've also heard that she's mated to Lucian.
Yeah. And she's like, I don't belong to anyone and I love you.
Yeah. Ugh. Elaine, stop. Why are all these, like, women groveling? I can't with it. I guess it's really only Elaine at this point, but nonetheless.
Yeah. Oh, she says, I belong to no one, but my heart belongs to you. And he says, I don't want it. Rude. Jerk.
Fine.
You could be nice about it.
Yeah, you could say, you know, I'm gonna let
okay,
you down,
honey.
I think that would still destroy her. But Faye was like, all right, listen, guys, this is what's gonna happen. Yeah. You're gonna freaking take in the humans, and we're gonna put wards up. And Nolan's like, we don't want your wards.
I really like your voice.
I said, Nolan is a little bitch about it.
I mean, yeah. For real, though.
But Julian? Who's that? That's a different series. Is it? No, it's not. I'm sure there's Julian somewhere, but not in that one. Anyhow.
I was so quick to agree, like, oh, yeah. Oh,
Dorian. Jurian shames the crap out of him. He's like, I know your ancestors, and they'd be disappointed in you. They would be pissed.
Yep.
And Nolan's like, okay, fine.
All right.
Fine. We'll take them in, I guess. Freaking riffraff. And then Grayson notices that Elaine still has her ring on.
He orders her.
He starts yelling.
Ew, first of all.
I know.
Orders her to take it off.
Take it off!
And she's like, nah.
Yeah.
Take it off.
And Faye was like, she can keep it if she wants to, you freaking fool. Or Reese says that or something. And then Grayson's like, well, can confirm. Grayson's like, you know, wow, we'll take in all of these other humans. I will never provide a safe haven for you and your kind. And what does Nesta do?
Well, that's a good question.
Nesta steps up to him.
Oh.
And
I believe you.
slaps the shit out of him.
Oh, yeah. And tells him that you never deserved her.
Yeah. She slaps him hard enough to, like, make him fall backwards because, you know, she's Faye now. So Faye slapping a human is a whole different experience. And I love that.
Grayson also makes a really snarky comment that I just want to read because it makes me mad.
Okay.
he's talking to Rhys. He says, "Is this the start of it? You Fae males will come to take our women. Are your own not fuckable enough?"
Ugh. I hate.
And even his dad is like, "Whoa, buddy, calm down.
Take a breath. Reel it in. You're doing the most."
And then he also says to Elaine, "No, never mind.
Oh,
You said that already."
okay. After all that, after Nesta puts him in his place, Rhys is like, "All right, Jurian, what's next? Like, what's your next steps?"
Yeah.
And Jurian's like, "Well, I'm gonna go on back to the king, tell him that I did not find Miriam and Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm gonna go cause some discord between the mortal queens."
Yes.
He's like, "I'm gonna go start spreading rumors and gossip, trying to get them to work against each other and distract them.
Keep them busy so that they don't come to the battlefield."
Yep. And before the end of that chapter, Jurian's like, "You know, I meant to congratulate you on murdering Dagdan and Bernard to Feyre." And she's like, "Well, I did it for the children and the best." And he's like, "Why do you think I decided to trust you?"
Yeah. He also tells Cassian, gives him some tips for the attack tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Tells Cassian to do something. Hammer the left flank hard tomorrow. Hybern is putting his untrained nobles there for some seasoning. They're spoiled and untested.
Start there.
If you start there, it'll spook the rest of them. And
yeah. Yeah, he gives them pointers. He
don't give
them
them time to rally or find their courage.
I know.
Brutal.
I know. So after all that's said and done, Moore's like, "Well, that was a lot. That was unexpected."
I agree more.
And Elaine is messed up.
Yeah.
Any progress that she had been making is now destroyed.
Of course.
She's back to her shell of nothing. And they have to go off to battle the next morning.
They do.
Feyre and Rhys are up early.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "A lot of soldiers are going to die today." He's sort of, stewing in that. He's like, it never gets any easier.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And he asks if Feyre's ready. She's like, I don't have a choice but to be ready. And I have a quote on page 505.
Okay.
If you want it.
I'm here if you want to use my book.
Great. It's just at the top, before they're getting ready to go. Rhys is like, "I'm grateful," he said after a while, as the camp beneath us stirred in the building light, "to have you at my side. I don't know if I ever told you that, how grateful I am to have you stand with me." I blinked back the burning in my eyes and took his hand. I laid it over my heart, letting him feel its beating while I kissed him one final time. The last of the stars vanishing as the army below us awoke to do battle.
To do battle.
That is what it says.
I know.
But it sounds funny now that we say it. So they're, it's kind of like
prepared.
We're going.
Yep.
No turning back now. And they find that Jurian's information was correct.
It sure was. Hybern's horde is exactly where he said it would be.
Yeah.
And they are...
They're there.
They're going.
They, put a sight spell over them so they wouldn't see him coming. And the Illyrians and the Darkbringers from Care arrive. And Rhys and Cass and Az are all in the battle also. Yeah. And it talks about their crazy-ass helmets. About how it's the only thing that sets them apart from the rest. And they start destroying the crap out of Harbern. Yep. Harbern. They start destroying them. They have the advantage on high ground. Yeah. And I think Hybern notices that and realizes it immediately.
Yeah. I think they had a little bit of, advantage with the surprise, too. Because they were not aware that they were coming.
That certainly helps.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just murder. They just start going to town, and Feyre's like, "Holy crap, this is why Cassian is the freaking captain of the guard."
Yeah. And can you imagine just, standing atop a hill? Watching murder. I'm like, oh, fascinating. Wow, did you see that? Where's my popcorn?
Yeah, that is weird, and it happens multiple times.
Yeah.
But yeah, Feyre doesn't join battle because she wants to get a sense of it first, and Moore is staying with her, even though Moore would rather be fighting.
Of course.
And there's...
Someone's got to protect sweet little Feyre.
Yeah, of course. But they're sort of watching this all go down, and Cassian is like a freaking war machine. Like, this is what he was born for. And Moore was like, battle to him is a symphony. Mm-hmm. He's just going to Flavortown. He's murdering left and right. I mean, everyone is. Reese and Az are also badass, obviously, but it focuses on Cassian quite a bit. Mm-hmm.
Can I read a quick quote?
Yeah.
This is on page 509. Feyre says, I could have sworn even Reese paused on the other end of the battlefield to watch as Cassian cut his way through those enemy soldiers, aiming for the mounted Hybern commander. I jumped ahead a little bit.
No, that's okay. I was getting right to that.
So, Cassian's going to kill this guy.
Yeah, there's one commander who's still on his horse and getting people. And Cassian sets his sights on him.
He does. And everyone's watching.
Everyone, yeah.
Mounted Hybern commander who realized what and who was coming for him and started to search for a better weapon. Cassian had been born for this, these fields, this chaos and brutality and calculation. He didn't stop moving, seemed to know where every opponent fought both ahead and behind, seemed to breathe in the flow of the battle around him. He even let his siphon's shield drop to get close, to feel the impact of the arrows that he took in that ebony shield. If he slammed that shield into a soldier, his other arm was already swinging his sword at the next opponent. I'd never seen anything like it, the skill and precision. It was like a dance. I must have said it aloud because Moore replied, for him, that's what battle is, a symphony.
Yeah.
Her eyes did not stray from Cassian's death dance.
Death dance.
I friggin' love that.
I know.
Whole section.
Yeah, that entire section.
It was long, I apologize.
That's okay. Yeah, it really paints a picture of Cass on the battlefield. Like, he's badass.
And even Reese is like, oh my god.
Yeah, he's like, hell yeah. That's why I made you command my armies, the Illyrians. But they end up forcing Hybern forces back enough that they, butt into Summer army. And they start to surrender. Like, Hybern's like, we're done here. The Hybern force. They start to surrender. They start to throw down arms and like, please don't kill us.
Yeah.
And it's Tarquin's call because it's his court.
His court.
And he decides to take a couple prisoners, but then he just straight drowns the rest of them.
Yep.
On dry land.
Friggin' water magic.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which fair.
I mean, yeah.
But yeah, that's brutal. To just drown them right there.
That's like
on land.
Seems like one of the worst ways to die.
I know.
Honestly.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
But they win that battle.
They sure do.
And later that night, they're all sitting around, and the Bat Boys come in. Cass, everyone's there. And Nesta's like, you're injured! To Cassian.
Yeah. And no one else notices but her. She, takes
How does she know?
I know. She, takes his hand, his arm.
Yeah.
And is, tending to his sprained wrist.
Yeah. She helps him.
Very sweetly.
But then Moore walks up and he, immediately pulls away.
Yeah.
And Ness is, dejected and leaves. Yeah. And doesn't, come back for a while.
Which, why? Why is he acting all weird with Moore around?
I don't know.
Why does Moore hate Nesta so much? I mean...
Moore needs to get off her high horse. If she wanted to be with Cass, she should have done that a long time ago.
Absolutely. She had the
opportunity. And she's also pining after Az. Which is it, Moore?
Yeah.
What do you need?
I don't know. I don't feel like she's pining after Az. I feel like it's the other way around.
Yeah. But nonetheless.
But she isn't doing anything to stop it either.
No, and she's not telling Cass she wants him. Mm-mm. So you need to let him move on.
Yeah.
And do his own thing. But then Moore and Nesta and Feyre spend the rest of the night, aiding all of the wounded. Mm-hmm. And then when Feyre gets back to the tent, Reese is, already in bed, and they end up banging it out in a war camp.
Yeah.
I was like, guys.
Of course they do.
Why now?
Come on.
Is that appropriate? But they have to, I guess. But Reese is real haunted by the day. He murdered a lot of guys.
Yeah.
And she talks about how, she's like, would you be ashamed if I was not ready to fight in this kind of war? Mm-hmm. It's not what I expected. The one, when they attacked Summer the first time, I felt like I could fight in because it was chaos and, hold my own. But this was, structured war where it was lines against lines.
Yeah.
And just constant murder. And he's like, I would never be ashamed of you, and especially not for that. You just aiding our wounded speaks volumes.
Yeah.
You being out there and helping everyone is enough. It sends enough of a message.
Yeah. He also tells her that, like, he thought of her every moment that he was on the battlefield, and it helped focus him.
Yeah.
Like, knowing that she was there made him
fight harder. Stay alive.
And better.
Yeah.
So, don't be ashamed, Feyre.
Yeah.
I couldn't go to friggin' war.
No, thank
Heck
you.
to the no.
Zero part of me wants that.
No.
But then they sort of are recovering and hanging out for 5 days.
Yeah.
And then Az reports back that he found more of Hybern. And that they somehow, like, skirted around them. And they're headed north.
Yep, they're heading to winter.
And they're like, what do we do? Geez. Do we leave Summer vulnerable and march up there? Or do we stay here? What's good? And Varian's like, guys, let's do both.
We march north and we stay.
Yeah. We'll just put we'll make a glamour.
That feels like a lot of wasted magic.
It sure does.
Magic.
It does, yeah. That's a lot of, it is.
Yeah.
They end up walking through the camp and, like, creating copies of everybody, essentially, that will carry on on their own after they've marched away.
Yeah, it said something about, like, it'll show anyone who walks by that there's an army there, but it'll also encourage them to, like, go away.
Yeah.
Somehow.
And it'll, like, smell and sound like an army. Like, that's pretty complicated magic. And Feyre helps. And, I think the Summer Court Crusada, I think, is helping. Like, it's a lot. It's a big effort.
Yeah.
But they do that. They do just that.
They do.
And they march. The real army marches north. Sight unseen. They're also glamored. This is a lot of magic, you guys.
Yeah.
That's a big army.
So much magic.
I know that they don't have nearly as many troops, but, like, that's gotta be thousands that you're just, like, glamoring and also protecting from sight. Like, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
And you need your magic to fight all these enemies when you get to where you're going.
And also, Tarquin is winnowing his entire army the whole time.
I forgot about that.
How in the world?
How?
Because the Illyrians are flying, obviously.
Right.
And the Summer can't keep up. So Tarquin's, like, winnowing them? That's so many people to winnow?
Yeah.
Okay, High Lord.
Yeah, but friggin' whoever, Lucian, I don't know, when they were, like, winnowing to the holes in the wall.
The holes.
The wall holes. They couldn't, like, take more than 3 people.
Yeah, Dagdan couldn't, yeah. Yeah,
Come
I know.
on.
What the heck? Tarquin must be hella powerful. I guess High Lords
he is
are.
a High Lord, but...
Yeah, Tamlin didn't go with them when they were doing all that.
That's true.
I
forgot about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyhow.
Well.
So they do that.
They do. It doesn't end well.
No, Hybern's ready.
Friggin' knew they were coming.
Yeah.
They also set them up.
I know. It's bad. The battle's not going good.
No.
And Hybern starts breaking through the Darkbringers' lines. They're doing some stuff. And Cass is in the middle of the fray. He's just fighting everybody. He's just in the middle on his own, kind of. Like, he broke from his own line.
Yeah, and they can't, no one can get to him.
Yeah.
Asriel's trying.
Yeah.
Eventually, Mor is going to be there trying, and no one can get to him.
Az is trying, and Feyre at this point is like, Mor, you should go help them.
You need to go help them.
You need to go help them.
Yeah.
Go on. Go down there.
Go on. I'm not up to anything, I promise.
It's fine. Just go ahead. And...
I'll take care of Nesta. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I'm not going to leave her by herself.
No, not at all. I would never do that.
She is my sister.
But Mor does. She goes down and joins the fight. She's been wanting to, so it didn't take much convincing.
Yeah.
And then Feyre to Nesta's like, I'll be right back. Just you can stay here, but I'll be right back.
I'll be right back.
She stops by Elaine's tent.
She does.
And she's like, Elaine, I need you to find the cereal for me.
Yep.
She decides
she shows
to go
Elaine
see
the cereal.
Yeah, she's like,
I need you to find this thing for me. Yeah. Let me show you.
She plants it
and
in her
Elaine
mind.
is like, why?
Yeah.
Why would you no?
Yeah.
Why do you need that?
Even Feyre, like, plants the image of the cereal, but also to not be afraid of him because he's helped. And Elaine is still like, no thanks. So she has Elaine find him. She, like, plants the image, and then Elaine thinks real hard and points to a map. And apparently he's in the middle, which is where the Weaver is.
Yep. And he's getting closer to the Weaver.
Yeah.
Like, he's heading towards the Weaver.
Mm-hmm. So that's interesting. And, freaking Feyre winnows on out of there.
Does she winnow?
Yeah, she winnows 5 times, I think, to get to the middle. And she is creeping through the woods. She knows the Weaver's out there. She knows she's
Mm-hmm.
being hunted. And all of a sudden she hears, "Have you come to kill me or beg me for my help once again, Feyre Archeron?"
Mm-hmm.
And it's the cereal.
It's freaking surreal.
And she's like, "Oh, shit. He's not in a snare. Is he going to kill me?" She's, like, concerned at first. But he seems like a buddy.
Uh-huh.
Even if he's spooky as shit.
Yeah, and he's like, this is 3 times now that we've met. 3 times. But this time, you sent the trembling fawn to find me. I did not expect to see those doe eyes peering at me from across the world. So, like, he knew that Elaine was finding him.
Yeah.
Which is fucking weird.
Yeah. I mean, the cereal knows everything, right?
Yeah,
He
but...
can see everything that's threaded and woven. But, yeah, it's
weird.
bizarre. I know. But then she starts asking him questions. We don't have time to waste. He's like, "You want to know where Hybern's hidden, right?" And she's like, "Well, yeah." He's like, "I can't see him." They are using the cauldron to cloak. They're using the cauldron, which is magic older than even I, to cloak their whereabouts. And he's like, "Use your sister to find it."
He calls the cauldron the bowl of death and life. Which I thought sounded ominous and spooky, and I liked it.
It certainly does. He says to use Nesta to find it, because like calls to like and tells her that she needs to scry, use scrying. He tells her quite a few things. She also asks about, like, why when she tried to nullify the cauldron it didn't work. And he's like, "Well, you didn't hang on long enough."
Yeah.
And she was like, "It was killing me." He was like, "I mean, yeah."
Exactly.
That was the whole point.
He calls her dramatic, so she says, "It was killing me," and he says, "Did you think you could leash its power without a cost?" And she said, "I need to die for it to be stopped." And he said, "So dramatic, human heart, but yes."
So dramatic. But yeah, you would, absolutely. Well, that's not dramatic. Then she asks him about the bone carver, like if he could make a difference. And he can't see anything about the bone carver either, because he's not of this world. His thread is not woven or whatever. And then
he also seems real uncomfortable about the idea.
Yeah.
He's like, "You wish to save Prithian so much that you risk unleashing him."
Yeah, I know. Which, of course, brings up the Ouroboros.
Yes.
And she's like, "I can't do it. I'm afraid it'll break me." And he's like, "You decide what destroys you." Which is interesting. Foreshadowing, question mark? Huh. And then he goes on to say, "Tell the silver-eyed friend of yours that the second and ultimate pages in the Book of Breathings have your answer," essentially.
Yeah.
But then, Sarah, he takes a freaking
oh my god,
ash arrow through the throat.
I know, in the middle of a sentence.
Yeah, in the middle of, like, it's the key to
Yep.
right through the throat.
Yep.
And who is it?
And, a little annoying ass voice chirps up and says, "Why does it talk to you, Feyre, when it would not even deign to speak with me?"
Yeah.
Who could it be?
Who could it be?
Ianthe.
Of course it is. Of course it's Ianthe. I freaking can't. She's here with some Hybern soldiers.
Yeah.
And she tells Feyre that the king fixed her mind.
Yep.
After what Feyre had done, and also built mental shields for her.
Yeah. So she can't do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that Ianthe was, like, tracking the Suriel because she knows that Feyre's caught him often and assumed it would happen again. So put a cloak on him that would activate when Feyre was around.
Yeah, which... How?
Yeah. Tell me more.
It's like Feyre motion sensor.
Yeah. Beep, beep, beep. Sets off
Feyre detector.
Sets off a little...
it's like a pager.
Like a pager that Ianthe wears. That's nice.
One of those buzzy things they give you at a restaurant. Bzz, bzz, bzz.
Absolutely. That has to be the magic here at play. And Feyre's like, "God damn it, man," and wishes that she had slit her throat way back in the day.
Yeah. Same.
And
same girl, same.
She's trying to figure out what to do here.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to leave the cereal behind. She has a weird attachment.
Terrible. She wants to save him.
Yeah.
She's like, "I just got to get that ash arrow out and then make him drink my blood and he'll be fine."
Yeah, she's looking at him and then gives him, like, a very pointed look and takes off. She starts running. through the forest.
Yeah, he's looking at her like,
just leave. And she's like, but
me.
I can't leave you. I can't. And so she tries to convey her plan to him via expression. She's like, do you think it's like a bunch of wiggling brows?
Probably.
Like Morse code, but eyebrows?
I'm gonna go over here.
No, hey, I'm gonna
stay right
I'll
there.
be back.
I'm coming back for you, friend.
But she starts running.
She does.
Running towards the Weaver's cottage.
Yep, they're shooting arrows at her.
Yeah.
While she's running.
She's weaving and dodging. She makes it into the Weaver's house and, like, swings behind the door, holding it open as hard as she can because she knows the Weaver's going to slam that shit.
Yeah.
And the Weaver's like, oh, hello, thief. I smell my brother on you.
Yeah.
The bone carver.
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
Doesn't she say something along the lines of something?
She does say some things.
What are you? Yeah, the Weaver asks Feyre, what are you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, why are you here? What's up? What are you? I smell my brother on you.
Yeah, and this whole time Yanthi's outside. She's like, I know you're in there, Feyre. Do you think I'm dumb?
Yeah.
Come on.
I saw you go in there. You're not going to be able to stop us if we come in.
You're not going to ambush us when we come in. There's only one of you.
Little do you know. You think Ianthe would know about the Weaver, though.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you would think.
Because everyone should, right? Because the Weaver, like, runs the middle.
I mean.
That's her domain.
Yeah.
All right. Whatever.
And there are no rules in the middle.
Yeah.
Like, no
law,
so everyone should be aware of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd think. That may be a plot hole. Plot hole.
Finally!
But then they go in, Ianthe and her soldiers.
Uh-huh. And Feyre...
And get past the door, and Feyre, like, sneaks out behind them, slams the door, and leaves, runs, and you just hear screaming.
Yeah. She's like, bye!
She freaking got Ianthe eaten!
I know. I know.
Victorious. I love that. I love that for her.
She runs back to the cereal.
Yeah, and offers to heal
dying.
him. She's like, I can heal you. I just got to get the arrow out. And he's like, you can't waste your magic. Like, don't bother.
Yeah, and he says, I'm already gone. Like,
yeah.
I don't...
It's
fine.
too late. It's fine. Just stay with me. Stay with me. And he starts talking about,
He also says that he knew about the cloak.
Yeah. He just was interested in seeing Feyre to see what she had to say. And then he starts talking about their first interaction. Way back in ACOTAR. First time she caught him.
Yeah.
And he's like, a small smile on that lipless mouth. Feyre Archeron, a labored breath. I told you to stay with the High Lord, and you did. It's warning to me that first time we'd met. You met Rhys all this time. All this time. Stay with him and live to see everything righted. Yes, I did, and it was. No, not yet. Stay with him. I will. I always would. Its chest rose, then fell. I don't even know your name, I whispered. The surreal, it was a title, a name for its kind. That small smile again. Does it matter, Cursebreaker? Yes. You should go now, worse things are waiting. But then he's like, Feyre Archeron, a request. And she says, anything. He says, leave the world a better place than you found it. And then he dies.
Yeah.
Surreal's gone. And Feyre starts weeping over his body.
Yeah.
But then... What?
Yeah.
I know.
I'm not actually crying.
And then who finds her, Sarah?
Hang on, I got a little quote.
Oh, shoot, sorry.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So this is obviously when the cereal's dead and dying. And its chest rose and stopped altogether as its breath escaped in one last sigh. I understood why the cereal had come to help me again and again. Not just for kindness, but because it was a dreamer.
Oh.
I know.
I love
He
that.
could have come and lived in Night Court.
Poor little Surreal.
I know.
I love that he's so
Just
evil.
misunderstood.
Yeah. Oh, poor Surreal. Bye, buddy. What's your name?
Surreal.
We don't even know your name. You think it's like Jeff?
Maybe it's cereal. Cereal the cereal.
Cereal the cereal. I love that. Now I need a tiny cereal figurine. Named Cereal.
Yeah.
Anyway, who finds her?
Friggin' Helion.
Hellion. He's like, dude, what the heck?
Yeah.
We gotta get out of here.
What are you doing?
But before she lets him winnow her out, she's like, please give me your cloak. And covers the cereal with it.
Covers him, and then what does Helion do? He freaking
burns
burns the
him with his
body.
light.
I know. We have a little surreal funeral.
I know. But then they get back to the camp.
Yeah.
The battle's over, and
Cassian's not okay.
no, Rhys tells Feyre, we won it, barely, and Cassian has been gravely injured.
Yeah.
So they run over to Cassian's tent, and he has a freaking, he's sliced from, like, waist up to his sternum.
Yep.
He's not doing good.
There's a healer.
Yeah.
Working on him.
Yep.
Trying to
patching him up.
Get his skin to come back together.
Yeah, I know. And Moore is pissed off at Feyre.
Yeah.
Rhys had been panicking. And he was like, please just leave a note next time.
Yeah.
Something. Tell me. And Feyre asks him if he would have let her go if she did tell him. And I know another quote I know.
That's okay.
It's on page 544. She's like, would you have let me go if I had? And he says, I do not let you do anything.
Mm-hmm.
You are your own person. You make your own choices, but we are mates. I'm yours and you are mine. We do not let each other do things as if we dictate the movements of each other. But I might have insisted I go with you. More for my own mental well-being, just to know you were safe. You were occupied. A slash of a smile. If you were hell-bent on going into the middle, I would have unoccupied myself from battle.
Yeah.
But it's still very much like, you're, a high lady now, but also you've always had your own free will in decision-making.
With Rhys.
Yes. And then Cass wakes up, and Rhys is mad at him.
Yeah.
Rhys is pissed.
Yeah, because Rhys ordered him to stop what he was doing and, like, chill the fuck out, and Cassian didn't listen.
Yeah, he ordered him to wait.
Yeah.
Because of,
He
Kira's
needed backup.
were falling, yeah. And Cass is like, okay, what? You can be mad about our choices, but we can't be mad about your self-sacrificing bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And they have this argument, and everyone leaves them to talk about it. They're like, we should go. But then Moore and Feyre go and have their own argument.
They do. Moore is like, what the hell, Feyre?
Yeah. Yeah.
You lied to me.
You did.
You bitch.
She's like, you are my high lady. Do you understand what you're implying when you don't trust us? Like, we are your court.
Yeah.
You can't be lying to us.
She's also real big mad at Nesta.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Nesta didn't tell anybody
that
Feyre was gone.
Yeah. Nesta kept her mouth shut. Loyalty.
Way to go,
says
Nesta.
something like, Nesta is nothing if not loyal or something. But then Feyre comes back and cuts real deep. She's like, you want to talk about lying more? You've been freaking lying to yourself and the rest of us every damn day. Yeah. And Moore's really angry. And it's like, get out.
Yeah.
So they leave on bad terms for the night. And then, she had to come hard, heavy hitter.
Yeah, Feyre's really good at hurting feelings, I feel like. She did that shit to Rhys.
Yeah, I feel like, she gets backed into a corner and just has to be vicious.
Yeah.
Hit where it hurts the most. But then Amren's there. Amren shows up.
Uh-huh.
Do you have to sneeze?
Uh-huh. It's not gonna come out.
Sorry, do you need a nose break?
No.
Okay. Amren's here.
Yep.
And she helps get Nesta ready to scry. She's got her little baggie. She's got the books.
She does.
With the stones and the bones.
Mm-hmm. Stones
and bones.
Amren tells Feyre to, like, maybe you should chill out with Amren. Or more.
Yeah.
Careful how you push her.
Mm-hmm. And then Nesta starts following her tie to the cauldron. She's got to hold these little stones and bones, think about the cauldron, and follow that thread.
Yeah.
But then Nesta's kind of stuck. She's like shaking and clearly not okay.
Yeah.
And so Feyre's like, I should go in
I'm
there.
Gonna go into her I'm gonna go into her little brain.
Step on in.
So she does.
And Feyre's like, wow, this shit's dark.
It is dark.
It's dark in here.
I'm scared of the dark.
Yeah. Can I get out? But she finds Nesta standing in a room with the king and the cauldron.
She says, I just want to read this about Nesta's brain.
Okay.
If Elaine's mental gates were those of a sleeping garden, Nesta's, they belonged to an ancient fortress, sharp and brutal, the sort I imagined they once impaled people on. But they were open wide, and inside dark. Dark like I had never known, even with Rhys.
Yeah. Interesting. I mean, she is cauldron. She might be death.
That's true.
But yeah, she finds her in the room with the king and the cauldron.
Mm-hmm.
And the cauldron senses them.
Yeah, it's talking to him.
It's like, who's that?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. And Feyre's like, get the hell out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Starts running back with Nesta out of her
she's
mind.
like, you have to open your fist.
Yeah.
Open it now.
And then Feyre's body is also screaming that. Not just her mind in mind. And when Nesta drops him, the bones and stones make a perfect circle around the, it's, about 100 miles from her family estate. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they're way south.
Yep.
Not at all where they are expected to be.
Yeah.
They've just been playing with them.
Yeah.
Hybrid.
Yep, they're playing with them like they're a little pet.
Uh-huh.
Just like freaking Tamlin.
And Feyre. Yep. Just like it.
Just exactly that.
Yeah. They are arm candy to the king. But then, of course, the lords start discussing a plan, like what they're going to do.
Yeah, they call everyone in and let them know what's going on.
They come to the conclusion that the king wants to push them towards the middle. Because that's a scary, spooky place. Push them towards the middle. And they're all like, we should sleep before we make any rash decisions. But then Varian comes in and sees Amren. Yeah. And he's like, oh my god! Yeah. And just kisses her.
Yeah. It was very
Doesn't
sweet.
even say anything, just kisses her. And then she wraps her legs around him and they leave. Mm-hmm. They're getting ready to have a good night.
Yep.
But then, dude, this last chapter of the section, chapter 63.
I know. This one's
we left at a good spot.
We really
again,
did.
You guys.
Sorry.
So everyone decides to go to bed.
They do.
And Feyre's having some terrible dreams.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean,
naturally.
War, and also she just saw the friggin' king and the army that they have, and the cauldron and the all of the things. Yeah. Surreal dying.
Yeah. Ugh. When Nesta saw the king in that room, they also saw the size of his army, and it's massive. Yeah, more than huge. They could ever fight. But she's having all these dreams. She dreams about Grayson summoning Elaine. She dreams about.
Oh, I forgot about that.
She dreams about the cauldron. It feels like it's watching her and reaching its tendrils to her, and she wakes up panicked. And wakes Rhys up, and they run out of their tent. Yep.
She says something is here, something is wrong.
Yeah, they run out of the tent. Nesta is shortly behind them. Mm-hmm. You feel it too? You hear it too? Can you hear that? And then Cass comes, and then Az comes. Amren is coming with Varian's shirt on.
Everyone's freaking coming.
All of them come out, and Az is they ask if Az can hear it too, and he's like, no, but I can feel it. The shadows are bending and, moving to its will.
Amren says they pried too deep.
Yeah.
And now the cauldron knows where they are.
And it seems to be scoping out their camp.
Mm-hmm.
But then they catch the feeling that it's leaving, it's receding. Yeah. Retreating.
Feyre's like, what does it want?
Yeah, what's going on here? And then Az is like, what about Elaine?
Mm-hmm. Where the heck is Elaine? So they run.
All of them.
Nesta.
They go to her tent. Of course. And it's empty.
It's empty, but her bed is still warm.
Yep. And Rhys had winnowed away to go check the surroundings. Yeah. And they see footprints or something leading out of her tent. Towards the edge of the camp. Mm-hmm. And so they all go over there. And Feyre's like, that dream she had about Grayson, the cauldron was luring Elaine out of her tent. Yeah. With an image of Grayson promising love and healing. And
so they go to the area, I think that Feyre saw him. Mm-hmm. And they found Elaine's cloak. Or her...
Yeah. Found Elaine's cloak.
Still warm. From her body. She's gone.
Elaine is gone!
The end.
That's the end of the book. Yep. I'm just kidding.
That'd be terrible.
That's the end of the section.
That's the end of the series.
Didn't even get to real war. Y'all, we left you on a cliffy.
That was wild. Mm-hmm. That was
a lot. A lot of stuff happened in that section for sure.
Yeah. I just want you guys to know that we don't ever intentionally leave you on a cliffhanger.
No.
We seem to do it a lot, but we just pick like a number of pages and kind of go off of that.
Yeah. And
so you're welcome.
Yeah, it works out.
It's always a surprise to us. Yeah. We never know until one of us finishes and it's like, dude.
Yeah, that's a great ending. It is a good stopping point.
Yeah.
So for next episode, you all, we're finishing the book.
We are.
We're doing chapters 64 to 89, I believe. Sure. Which is just the end of the book.
Yeah.
So read the end of the book before next week. We'll be chatting about it. Wrapping up Act of War.
Wrapping it
up. 81.
Nope, 82.
Very wrong. 82. I was 7 chapters off.
What did you say?
89.
No, you did.
But any case, that's next episode next week. Y'all, please leave us a rating on whatever podcast platform you're listening on. It would help us a lot.
If you're on YouTube and you're still here, leave us a comment that says, hey, all you people.
That's great. Yeah, do that. I'd love that. And you could follow us on any platform, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, etc. At Books and Crannies Podcast. We'd love to interact with you more. If you want more weird content from us, we just get weirder. We do, actually. Yeah, absolutely. This podcast is not the weirdest of it.
This is a very tame version of
us. But thank you all for so much.
Thank you all for so much support.
Mainly listening or watching. We appreciate you.
Yes.
Happy reading.
Happy reading. We'll see you guys next week.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.